Good evening, race fans. It is now time for the fast Operation GI Barbecue 150 here from the Iowa Speedway. This is LSRTV's own Justin Rose. Now joining me in the booth tonight will be Jacob Seelman. We're going to bring you 3 separate 50-lap segments of the Super here from Newton Speedway. And just as qualifying getting underway here in the server at the moment. Right now, guy on the provisional pole, been fastest all throughout the preparation for this event. The number 7 of Tim Bills clocks in with a 23.43 here in the qualifying session. These guys have just 2 laps, so they got to lay it all on the line. We'll get it run down for you here in just a moment. But I'm going to take this opportunity to bring in the man of the hour, Jacob Seelman. We're going to put on a great show here to benefit troops. Got it. All these guys have raised roughly $300 right now, and we're going to take donations through the broadcast, but just through small donations. These 30 guys that have signed up, only 20 in the server at the moment. We've raised $300 for Operation GI Barbecue and GI Barbecue. Great way to send a taste of home to our troops overseas.
Yeah, and thank you, Justin. It's going to be a wild night. Obviously, Iowa, one of the, in my opinion, one of the toughest tracks on this sim, not only because of the high probability that we're going to see some beating and banging tonight, but we talk about it all the time. It's the short track that races like a super speedway. It's high speed, it's high risk, it's high drama, and before the end of the night, I guarantee you, we're also going to see some high tempers between these 350-lap segments. That's not a lot of time. You cannot waste a moment tonight. It's going to be go time from the drop the green flag every chance you get, because really the one big thing at this racetrack is restarts.
That is, you can really make a lot of ground if you're on the inside lane. Outside line, you have to get it just perfect in order to be able to nail your entry and exit out of the corner, and it's really kind of a crazy thing. You know, you have so many fast guys up here at the top of the field, and several of them with real racing experience, or guys that have just basically lived around the racetrack. You've got the 00 of Ben Gilcrease right now, clocked in provisionally in the 3rd spot with a 23.622 second lap. He's a racetrack announcer just like you, Jacob, and he's certainly shown he can certainly get it done behind the wheel as well, sitting 3rd now in the qualifying session.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me. What does surprise me is the gap from Gilcrease to the pole sitter, Tim Bills, right now. Bills has almost a full 0.2 of a second over the rest of the field, almost backed up what he ran in practice, and he's been consistently 1.5 to 2 quicker than the rest of this field all the way through. You know, I've really been surprised maybe a little bit, not at the speed, but at how much he's been able to gap the field. Right now, he goes into this, at least this first 50-lap segment, as the overwhelming favorite, in my opinion, and, you know, start it from the best place possible, on pole.
Yeah, and we're gonna do something different after each and every segment tonight. All lead lap cars that finish the race on the lead lap will be inverted fully. So if Tim Bills wins segment one, he's gonna start dead last in segment two if everybody finishes on the lead lap, and that's gonna make it a little bit interesting because guys that are faster than the others in front of them, it's gonna create quite a bottleneck, and gonna see some really good short track style racing here tonight on LSRTV. And people, again, if you're asking me what is Operation GI Barbecue, it is a 501c3 charity that was developed this year by a fellow friend of mine, Bob Mickel, an Air Force veteran. And he wanted a way to bring a taste of home to our troops stationed overseas because his son is now in the Air Force, and really wanted to really give him a taste of home when he's stationed overseas. And a great way to do that is by donating to Operation GI Barbecue, and they need to raise $33,000 total this year to be able to send a big pit smoker, all the fixings for barbecue, meat, rubs, seasonings, charcoal, you name it, to send it all overseas to our troops so that they can really get that taste of home they so desperately need.
And we will be collecting donations through the broadcast, and of course, continuing to plug the charity work throughout the night, Justin. Definitely a huge cause that we're supporting here tonight on LSRTV. I'm glad to be a part of it and glad to tie it into some really great short track racing. I think we're in for a treat here the longer this race goes on, because you talk about 3 separate 50-lap segments, and there's going to be no shortage of drama in all 3 as we get closer and closer to the checkered flag here tonight.
Certainly is going to be the case. And if you guys are asking, well, how do I donate to Operation GI Barbecue? Go to the homepage at www.fastsimracing, FASTSIMRACING.com, fastsimracing.com, and there's a link on the homepage there that will allow you to donate directly to Operation GI Barbecue. A couple cars yet to take time here in the qualifying session. Tim Bills still on the pole, 2/10 ahead of Mike Rhino in the number 33 Ford Fusion. And Mike Rhino, a very stout, fast competitor. He's won the Legends Oval Championship, the Road Championship, and the Legends Endurance Championship in the Fast Sim Racing Series. Tim Bills is just in another time zone. He dominated the overnight wraps dash, and that provided him a free entry into this race here. 20 drivers in the server once again, and as qualifying gets ready to close here, we'll give you the full field rundown here in just a moment. And Jacob, Operation GI Barbecue, this event could not be put on without the help of certain folks like Overnight Wraps, ARC Racing Series, Team Loud Pedal Racing, Lucas Oil Products, Apple Performance, Pixelated Speed, and Pure Sim Tech.
Again, a lot of people go into making the support that we put on for our troops and the broadcast that we put on here tonight on LSR TV possible. We shout out to them, and we'll continue to shout out to our sponsors throughout the evening. About 2.5 minutes left before we cut off the qualifying clock. Final car, though, on track for his 2-lap run now. Robert O'Neill in the 74 was, based on his practice time, up inside the top 10, so we'll see what he can make of his 2 laps here. Again, the last of our 20 drivers that are signed in to take time, and once we have the field set, we will get ready to roll it. And again, under the lights at Iowa, it's good old-fashioned Sunday night short track racing here on LSR TV. And I keep thinking of that word that you and I bring up so often in real sim racing competition when we broadcast them here on LSR TV. It's going to be a good old-fashioned throwdown tonight.
Certainly is going to be, and with a caution, if you get a couple cautions in the middle of this race, you've got effectively 2 15 to 20 lap shootouts, and anything can happen here. Laps go by in the 24-second range here in race trim. A couple drivers here, a little bit behind the pace here, as they're around 0.6 of a second behind your pole sitter Tim Bills, but race pace is expected to be in the neighborhood of 23.9, 24 flat. In racing trim, and the tires will fall off actually kind of dramatically over the first 4 or 5 laps, and then hold in about 24.2s, and then we'll go all the way down to about 24.7 if we go green to checkered or so. So these drivers certainly have their work cut out for them to really catch that number 7 car. The 74, the driver from Inverness, Florida, Robert O'Neill, clipped the wall in qualifying, not going to be able to get a time, so he's going to start dead last at the back of the field. And Tim Bill's going to take the pole right now with a 23.430 second lap, and Mike Rhino in second with a 23.613. 00 of Ben Kilcrease is going to come home third in qualifying with a 23.622 second lap. And we'll cover the rest of the field for you here after we get down to our opening ceremonies, as we now go down trackside for those opening ceremonies.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And we bring you back topside and get set as the field gets ready to roll. We will bring you now to the Lucas Oil starting grid as we get set to rock and roll. As Justin said, the 7 of Tim Bill's on the pole, a best lap of 23.430. To the outside of the front row, the 33 Mike Rhino.
Inside, row number 2, going to be the 00 of Ben Kilcrease, and outside of him, another driver from Canada, the 31 of Keith Mack.
Rolling off P5 at the 88, Mike Cosey Jr. to the outside, and the 5th one, Randall Falks.
Inside, row number 4, the 32, Ryan Borges from Rutland, Mass., and outside of him, the 97 of Paul Boswell.
Behind Boswell, starting 9th tonight, the 14, Ben Nile, rounding out the first 5 rows on the grid, the 44, Paul Fugate.
Inside, row number 6 is going to be the 11th spot, the 15 car, Mike Alexander from Revolution Racing. Outside of him, from Team Loud Pedal Racing, the 22 from Wall Township, New Jersey, TJ Graves in the 12th spot.
If they could make that racetrack a town, I would definitely live there. Starting 13th, the 37, Spencer Preet. Outside of him, the 03, Richard Holiday.
The 3 is Stephen Wetton will start 5th. The 16th goes to the 96 of Forrest Gregg.
17th, going to be Robert Matthews, the 28. 99, Daniel Vining starts 18th.
The 07 of Brandon Simmons will start 19th, and Robert Neal going to start shotgun in the 20th spot. 20 cars in the server. Here's the field now files into turn number 3, and to take you to the green, here is LSRTV's own Jacob Seelman.
Thank you, Justin. Ready to roll as we work through turns 3 and 4. The cornfields of Iowa set tonight for 3 50-lap segments, 150 laps total for the Operation GI Barbecue 150. Tim Bill's going to lead the field off turn number 4. The American Ethanol green flag goes in the air, and we are underway here at Iowa Speedway. Bill's on the jump, and we go single file in the top 2. They're 2 by 2 behind him through 1 and 2.
00 of Ben Gilcrease on the inside. The 88 of Michael Kosi Jr. working the inside along with the 32 of Ryan Borges, who tries to make it 3 wide going down into turn number 3 on lap 1. Falks in the 51. The 31 of Keith Mack still stuck on the high side as the 00 Gilcrease still works to the inside of the 31 of Keith Mack, as Mack now edges ahead of them going into turn 1, and Randall Falks really trying to make that outside line work as well. The 00 Gilcrease still trapped on the bottom side out of 2.
Yeah, they're 2 by 2 by 2 right there, about 5, 6, 7, and 8 now. Borges takes a peek. Do we go 3 wide? Almost up the middle off turn number 4. They're going to settle it out in a hurry, and we're already going to be 2 laps of the first 50 in this mix. Battle back around the 9th position. Paul Fugate looking to the inside. He's looking for P9 in the 44.
14 of Ben Niall got hard at the outside wall the last time by. He's got a lot of damage on the right front of that 14 machine. Fugate not going to be able to take advantage this time by through 3 and 4 up and ahead of them. 00 of Ben Gilcrease has fallen behind. He's got passed by the 51 and the 32 of Randall Falks, and he's going to get passed again on the outside, I believe, by the 88 of Michael Kosi, and the 97 of Paul Boswell gets into the wall as well. They're side by side, drag racing down to turn number 3, and Boswell on the high side, trying to get around the 00 of Gilcrease as everybody else in front of them gone single file, and whoa, Paul Boswell gets loose and gets into the wall again, out of 4.
He pancaked the right side, Justin, but I didn't see too much damage. It is going to allow the 14 of Ben Niall down low, trying to make that side-by-side dash work. That's a battle for the 8th position down the back straightaway. Further up, back to the lead. It's 4 car lengths between Tim Bills and Mike Rhino. 7 over 33 as we come to complete lap 5.
The 32 of Ryan Borges got around the 51 of Randall Falks, and the 88 of Michael Kosi Jr. going to work to the inside of that double clutch Operation GI Barbecue Toyota Camry out of turn number 2 this time as Randall Falks shuts the door on him and looks ahead and tries to get back around the 32 of Borges as well. And Kosi got a nose on the inside of Falks as we're side by side out of turn number 4. Kosi's there on the inside. He's looking to try to take it at the stripe. Not going to get there, but he puts again down low in 1.
That's going to be a good 2 by 2 battle, and right behind them, the 03 of Richard Holiday tries to make a move. Do we go 3 wide down the back straightaway? Not quite. Holiday to the top side of Boswell for the position, and he is going to plug up into the 9th spot as they work off turn number 4. Further back, 3 wide around the 15 of Mike Alexander for 11.
Mike Alexander, we're trying to work around the 37 of Spencer Freed on the outside, and Alexander, another one of the Revolution Racing contingent with R&R Kinsman on the quarter panels of that for Mustang here tonight is Freed. Trying to run the ARC Racing Series Chevrolet underneath Alexander at the moment, and Alexander gets to run now off the high side. Whoa, they almost touch. The gravel car of the 97 of Boswell gets really loose. It's going to allow Fugate to go up the hill, get the advantage of the 37 of Fritas. Now they're just trading spots all over the racetrack right now for positions, I believe, about 10 through about 14.
But I'm looking a little further up through the field, Justin. I know we've got some great side-by-side racing back in it, but I'm liking the charge of the 32 of Ryan Borges right now, and that car has steadily gotten better and better and better throughout the day so far. 10th in practice, picked it up to 7th in qualifying. He's found another gear, moves up to 4th, and is knocking on the back deck lid of the 31 of Keith Mack. That's the battle for 3rd, the split about 3 car lengths as we work through 3.
And as the gap closes once again out of turn number 4, it is worth noting that Ryan Borges, although not a Team Loud Pedal Racing member for this event, has a technical alliance with that team for this event as he's on the team setup, and the team really starting to show their strength. There's the 51 car of Randall Falks right behind the 88 of Michael Kosi in your screen right now. Those 2 cars running on the same setup along with the 22 of TJ Graves, who's just lagging back. He got into the wall, a little bit of trouble, but again, the gap now 2.5 car lengths as Kosi now works to the inside of Borges.
Now we are 11 complete work. Lap number 12 of the first 50 lap segment. Again, 3 50 lap segments, and the lowest overall, what is it, just an average finish, I believe, is going to be the one to get it done?
Yes, average finish. There's actually 3 separate yells for each of the 50 lap segments, and then there's an overall payout, which is the one you want to really win because it's 3 times the payout for just one segment. So the lowest overall going to win in the neighborhood, especially if you dominate all 3 segments, you lead the halfway bonus in each segment. and you get all your bonus money, you could take home in the neighborhood of $75 to $100 here tonight, just in this race.
For an hour sitting in front of a computer. I'm liking this more and more and more. And obviously you and I do this a lot, but this is a special event, a little bit different than what we're used to, different format, but a whole lot of fun. And definitely do want to make it a point to mention that while we will be off tomorrow night, LSRTV, our normal Monday night broadcast with the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series, makes its return 1 week from tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, when the Stars and Cars of Racing Racing take to the track. We're going road racing at Watkins Glen International. So we got a lot more coming up on LSR TV. Right now, though, the racing action says Tim Bills, as we work lap number 15, out in front by an increasing margin, 1.8 seconds over the 33 of Mike Rhino, 31 Keith Mack, Michael Cosi Jr., Ryan Borges falls back to 5th, but they are your top 5 as we're about a third of the way through segment 1, the Operation GI Barbecue 1/5 from the Iowa Speedway, and I'm looking at a battle back in the pack. 28.97. Robert Matthews, Paul Boswell, and even the 3 of Stephen Wetton right in front of this battle. 13th, 14th, and 15th. Who says you have to be at the front of the field to have a good battle? They're wheel to wheel as we cross the stripe.
3 wide for this battle here at the back of the pack. The 07 of Brandon Simmons sticks his nose in on the inside. The Robert Matthews machine, 28 machine. Bertelson Plumbing alongside that quarter panel on that driver from British Columbia, Canada. Trying to work around the 97, the driver from Alabama. That's one of the Alabama gang we have signed up for the event tonight. Had 3 drivers in the race, at least 4 if you count the 00 of Ben Gilcrease, all from Alabama. So the Alabama contingent really strong here in this race, along with the Canadian contingent, as Matthews now works on the outside. The 07 is Brandon Simmons trying to pass him for the 15th spot.
We are now officially 1/3 of the way through segment 1 tonight, coming to complete lap number 18. Still a long way to go, but it's Tim Bills ahead of Mike Rhino, Michael Cosi up to 3rd, Keith Mack back to 4th, Randall Falks moves into the top 5, and we're going to do a little bit of business here on LSR TV, but come back with more. The Operation GI Barbecue 150 in a moment from the Iowa Speedway. You're watching LSR TV, the voice of sim racing.
While lions are notorious for their voracious appetites, they spend a great deal of time feeding other creatures. In fact, lions will take great care to ensure there's plenty to go around. As you can see, they keep giving with utter ferocity. Bravo, lions, and bon appetit. Do good, be a lion.
Welcome back to LSR TV. Coming up on the halfway point of segment 1 of tonight's Operation GI Barbecue 150 here on LSR TV. Jacob Seelman and Justin Rosenau on the call tonight, and as always, our broadcast of tonight's Operation GI Barbecue 150 is presented by Operation GI Barbecue, the nationwide effort to bring a little bit of home to our troops that are in harm's way. For more information, visit GIBarbecue.com. Caution flag on the racetrack for the first time tonight.
Going to have the caution flag wave here on lap number 25 here, right at the halfway point. I do not have the caution card just yet, scanning through my replay to see what happened here. Probably looked like it's going to be a debris caution, and that's going to put the field under the Service Master Clean caution flag for the first time here tonight. And one interesting note here, these drivers, they cannot pit for tires. You have to take care of your stuff, and I was noticing here just before the caution flag flew, the leader, Tim Bills, is in big trouble. He was running 25-second lap times as the rest of the field was rapidly closing in at around a 24.7 clip, so 0.4 of a second a lap. I mean, that's huge, and he didn't look like he didn't have any lap traffic in front of him.
Well, I mean, this was also a scenario where he had such a big lead. Why not pace yourself a little bit? If you know you can pick it back up, obviously we don't know exactly what the catch is, Justin, but, you know, he's had so much speed over the course of today that I would be surprised if he wasn't just rolling out a little bit, kind of taking it easy and maybe trying to not push his equipment quite so hard for a little bit later on as we close in on the final 10 or so laps of this first segment. I mean, he knows he's going to have to come from the back if he wins segment 1, but, you know, he's shown the speed to do it. So I'm not going to say that I'm panicking if I'm Tim Bills just yet, though if he knows something we don't, then there is that. But as long as he's leading, Justin, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, from the Wheelin' and Dealin' Motorsports camp, those guys are at the front of the official iRacing.com Super Late Model Series. They are the guys to beat. Team Loud Pedal very fast, very close, but still there's usually about a 1/10 of a second gap no matter what Team Loud Pedal can actually try to do. They just haven't quite figured it out just yet. So these guys very, very fast, and you know, 1/10 of a second, it seems like an eternity, but when you're talking a spread of over a second in official racing, it's not that much. I mean, you can really hang on, and if you get a better long run setup in these cars, you could really show your muscle, especially once we get later. And then especially in this race, Jacob, with the fact you cannot take tires, you can only fix damage and you can add fuel. That's the only ways you can improve your car in this race.
Gee, it sounds like a good old Saturday night short track showdown, doesn't it?
It sure does. And Tim Bill's very fast driver. Let's not take anything away from him. He's shown it all event prep long. I mean, I say it that way because he was fastest in the overnight wraps dash. He was fastest in both of the practice sessions that we've seen him appear in, and fastest in qualifying, and still up front right now. The 74 of Robert O'Neill going to be the car that is the caution car assigned the EOL penalty and gets an incident point. If you get 3 incident points over the course of tonight's 3 segments, you will be asked to park, and Robert Neal just one step closer towards being shown the door.
Oh, that's the moment where you sit back and go, all right, we got to take it easy for a little bit. And lights go out on the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car, so it looks like we're going to be going back green flag racing when we get back to the stripe. Bills and Cosi on the front row, and that 88's made a really nice charge from 5th up to 2nd over the past 10 or 12 laps, so maybe he does have a little something that we haven't seen just yet.
A very, very fast driver in the ARC Racing Series, Street Stock Series, won the top split this last Thursday in that league, and very fast driver nonetheless. And you've seen him march his way up through the field, started behind Randall Falks even, and has marched his way up there and got up into the 2nd spot. The pace car getting ready to dive to the safety of pit road, and the 7 of Tim Bills, the field's going to be in the hands of him, and as he stands on the loud pedal, the American ethanol flag waves once again in the air as we are back on the green here at the Iowa Speedway. The 33 of Mike Rhino protects his 3rd spot as Michael Cosi got a better restart than Rhino did, and he reclaims that 2nd spot. Now he's
hold on to it, back straightaway. They're 4 wide down the back straightaway. I think that was the 31 of Keith Mack that completely stacked up the outside lane, almost spun it in front of the field, Justin, and somehow they all fit straight.
Very, very talented drivers here at the front of the field. Randall Falk's going to be the big winner in that exchange. Mike Rhino got loose out of turn 4 and piled up the field, and Randall Falks just took to the low side and passed everybody. Puts himself up into the 3rd spot. He's a 2nd behind Tim Bills as Michael Cosi still rides in 2nd, but he's hot on the heels of Bills out of 4.
That's going to be a two-car battle for the lead, at least for the moment, and we continue to watch that and continue to watch the stack-up behind the race leaders. Top 5 completely shuffled right now. How about the 03 of Richard Holiday up to the top 5 for the first time tonight? A car length separates the leaders. Bills versus Cosi out of 4.
Cosi looking to the inside of Tim Bills. Bills' car starting to fall away here in Iowa. Really starting to fall off the pace. And caution flag waves once again. Trouble on the racetrack.
Yeah, that's going to slow everybody up, and I think it might be the 96 of Forrest Gregg, Justin. He dropped way off the leaderboard in a hurry back there around TJ Graves and Daniel Vining. I'm going to get confirmation here in just a second, and indeed it is the 96 machine well back of the pack. Looks like he will be the cause of our second Service Master Clean caution. We'll pull the Service Master Clean yellow trucks on the track and clean it up as we take a look here on the LSRTV replay. For all your cleaning needs, get Service Master Clean.
No
Check
replay
that,
being
he blinked
shown.
out.
But I believe the incident point is actually going to be assessed to the 22 double clutch Chevrolet SS of TJ Graves, the driver from Wall Township, New Jersey. And he looked like he got loose on the inside of the 97, I do believe, of Paul Boswell, and got the 99 of Daniel Vining collected along with the driver from Slapout, Alabama, the 96 of Forrest Gregg, also being involved in that melee, and heavy damage on the side of that number 22 machine.
Cars in the back of the pack taking a peek to pit road. Nobody in front gonna make the dive, but we're all of a sudden coming down to 16 laps to go in this first segment. So it went by quickly, Justin. If I can figure out the English here, maybe I need some barbecue.
Yeah, you sure do. And barbecue, big passion of mine. And I just got a message from my guys through voice chat here. Our team has collectively raised, in addition to what we've already given for this event, the team is going to announce live that we are giving a $35 donation to Operation GI Barbecue.
Under caution here in the Operation GI Barbecue 150, working to complete segment number 1. Tim Bills, your leader. Michael Cosi Jr. rides second. The 51 of Randall Falk is third. 31 Keith Mack fourth, and the 03 Richard Holiday rounds out the top 5. Coverage of tonight's Operation GI Barbecue 150 on LSRTV, presented by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world. Visit lucasoil.com for more information. And of course, by Operation GI Barbecue, the nationwide effort to bring a little bit of home to our troops in harm's ways. For more information, visit gibbq.com or visit the Fast Racing Series website for more information. And Justin, we're closing in on 10 laps to go in this first segment, and I see no reason that Tim Bills shouldn't walk away to win this, but maybe. Does Cosi have anything left?
Cosi showed he had plenty of speed, and Tim Bills was just making his car very, very wide that last restart there. And the 88 of Cosi has the speed. So does the 51 of Randall Falks. Once he got clear of Keith Mack and the gang behind him, he started closing in on these guys. He shows he's had some speed here at the end of this race. And how about the driver from Apex, North Carolina, the 03 of Richard Holiday, and with pixelated speed alongside the ARC Racing Series sponsorship on that 03 ride. Very slick looking car. He's got a very beautiful candy green paint job on that car. He's climbed his way up from 14th spot here when he started the race, all the way up to 5th, and he's going to be restarting on the inside, which is the preferred line here on the restart. As the field doubles up, we are 1 to go.
All right, kids, let's get ready to do it again. Justin, who are you liking on the restart? I'll give you the 7 or the 88 and tell me why.
I'm going to go with the 7 because he is the control car. The inside line is the preferred lane, and he's shown that he can get out to an early start versus everybody else. He left even the 3rd place car, Mike Reinl, on that last restart well behind, and Reinl in the weeds, and that's really going to be if the 51 Randall Falls can stay with him, but my choice is the 7.
All right, We're going to double it up, gear it up as we work off turns 3 and 4. Again, the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car going to make the hard left turn to pit road, leave the field in the hands of Tim Bills. American Ethanol green flag goes back in the air. This restart presented by American Ethanol. If it's good enough for NASCAR, it's good enough for your car. American made, American grown, powering NASCAR. Bills on the jump and already off turn number 2. He'll pull away to the lead as we work the back straightaway.
Not so fast. The 88 of Kosi's there on the high side. High, wide, and hits him around the 7/8 mile. D-shaped oval here in Newton, Iowa. May have a new leader at the stripe. It's going to be Bills at the stripe by just 5/100ths of a second as we are outside of 10 laps to go.
I'll take the inside lane all day long and give everybody else a chance to get around me. And Kosi may have a shot at it, but I'm still looking to the inside. Bills is trying to hold on. He's got 11 laps to go. And now we're going to see the lead change topside. Michael Kosi to the front with 11 laps to go.
11 to go here at Iowa. Kosi to the point for the first time tonight. The 7 of Bills tries to get the run on him, but gets a little loose and tight. The car went loose and then really tight, pushed up the hill. That's going to allow the 31 of Keith Mack, who got around the 51 of Randall Falks, as the next guy in line to take his shot at the 7 of Tim Bills. Is Bills really going to try to make his car wide? He kind of shuts the door. Randall Falks now works to the inside of Mack as they get down into one. They're side by side.
Wheel to wheel for that third spot. Randall Falks, Keith Mack, Falks on the inside, Mack top side, and they're dead even down the back straightaway. Nobody giving an inch. Now Mack peeks the nose out and is going to try to use that high lane momentum to take the third spot as we work off turn number 4. Another driver trying to do that back there about the 5th spot, the 32 of Ryan Borges, trying to make some momentum here, and actually is going to end up losing a spot. Now crossed over to the bottom as he gives Richard Holiday a tap in 2.
Don't count out the 00 kill crease. He's starting to stick his nose with that Phoenix Construction Toyota Camry underneath the 32, the Honda Accord. A little bit different manufacturer for the driver, that 32. The Rutland Mass driver, Ryan Borders, gets a little loose, almost puts it in the outside fence, but Kosi's starting to pull away with this one as we're inside of 10 to go.
Inside 10 laps to go, make it 8 laps to go. Last time they crossed the stripe. Now Keith Mack is taking a peek on Tim Bills. Had to give up the ground off the back straightaway and now works into turn 3, closes it up to less than a car length. This time by 7 to go. No problem right now for Kosi. He's starting to extend that gap a little bit. It's half a second as they cross the stripe.
Still no change between the driver, that 88, and the number 7 of Tim Bills. Bills mounting a very spirited charge right now as he's trying to claw his way back up to the leader, the 88 of Michael Kosi Jr., the 31 of Keith Mack, right in Bill's tire tracks. And the 7's really got to worry about what's behind him while trying to go after what's in front of him. And as we see this time by, as we come out of turn number 4, 6 laps to go here in segment 1, the gap opens up just slightly, 0.03 of a second added to that 0.4 second gap.
It's basically half a second for all intents and purposes, 4 or 5 car lengths. It's really stabilized just in between Kosi and Bills, and everybody's kind of settled themselves out a little bit now. This may be a case of you got what you got here, and we're going to flip the field around and get ready to do it again. The only car that will not be inverted looks to be the 14 of Ben Nile, because he's going to be a few laps down. But if I'm understanding the way you explained it the first time, we'll invert the top 19 because they're all on the lead lap and go and try this again for 50 more laps.
Yes, as long as we go all the way to the checkered without another caution flag, the 19 drivers that are on the lead lap right now in segment 1 will be inverted completely, thus putting either the 22 of TJ Graves or the 99 of Daniel Vining, because they're sitting there racing for position at the back of the pack. Who's going to want to take the pole if you decide to give up the 18th spot? You're going to find yourself either on the outside, which may not necessarily be a bad place to be. You might want to try to hold that driver off, but if you're Dan Vining, you may want to try to get around him so you can get what appears to be the better line on the restart, especially if you can time it just right and stay with whoever is the pole sitter.
Just got the report from the pit area, mechanical troubles for Ben Niles. Screen froze up on him, and when he got back in, a little bit of lag in the service, so he could not get back going again. So trouble for Ben Nile, and he will not be able to finish segment number 1. This time by double popsicle sticks in the air. 2 laps to go in segment 1 for Michael Kosi Jr. It's still a half second side by side for third again in 1.
Falks has the advantage. He's got the 03 of Richard Holiday behind him, trying to work that inside line, trying to get around the 31 to keep Magnus. Holiday goes 3 wide into turn number 3. Falks has to drift up a little bit as they almost touch between the 31 and the 51 on the high side.
One more lap in segment number 1. I hesitate to say white flag because we still got 100 laps to go before we get to the conclusion of this race. We'll call it a competition caution, all intents and purposes. Back straight away for the final time for Michael Kosey Jr. Segment 1. Tim Bills is closing back in. He's not going to have enough, though. Michael Kosey going to come to what's going to be the end of segment 1, completes it, and about a 3-wide battle for that third position goes to the 31 of Keith Mack. It's Kosey, Bills, then Mack, your top 3, as we'll invert 19 of the 20 starters and get ready to do it again for segment 2.
Yes, we will. Congratulations go out to the driver, that number 88. ARC Racing Series Chevrolet. Going to be Michael Kosey Jr. going to take home segment 1 and put himself first on the list. And he gives himself the best shot after winning segment 1. If he can duplicate it in segment 2, he really certainly has the better shot at solidifying himself as the potential to be the overall winner here on the night. And with that said, we're going to take this time to go to commercial break. We'll come back and bring you segment 2 of the Operation GI Barbecue 150 here on LSRTV, Voice of Sim Racing.
I'm Dan Garrison, software engineer at iRacing. Since the beginning of Papyrus and through iRacing, the track has been unchanging through a session. Whatever you have at the beginning is what you have for the duration of the session and the end. The track doesn't change. What we want to do is be able to have the track respond to what's going on, to have cars interact with the track, to have the track change in temperature, in the amount of rubber. We want marbles, and we want those to be generated by the cars, putting them where they should be and picking them up and rethrowing them off the race line. It's a physical-based model that we focus on first and foremost. The tire and the track interaction, what's really going on there. It would be easy to just quickly throw something together. Our standards are, it needs to make sense. What's really going on, even at the molecular level between the track and the tire. The way the track works, essentially, is we divide it up into small cells that your car interacts with. So if you're adding temperature to a certain part of the track, we can pretty accurately know exactly where that is. That gets transmitted to the server. So if I'm in a race, my data is going to the server with everybody else in the session. The server accumulates that and basically broadcasts a consistent track state to everyone, so everyone's got the same track that they're racing on. One of the big challenges was being able to implement this dynamic track with any number of clients connected and have it just work as you would expect. Have it be the same for everyone in the service who's in a session. So to kind of give a little bit of a preview of the state of things right now, I basically have run a number of laps at 5 flags with the effects exaggerated for demonstration purposes so that we can kind of immediately see what's going on with the track. Right here is basically the track at the beginning of the session. There is a little bit of rubber on there that's put programmatically. That's the starting state of this track, and it's fairly low rubber at this point. If we skip ahead to the end, I did about 30 laps, so at the very end you can kind of see all this darkened in right here. This is where I was running the car, so well, there you go. And again, this is exaggerated. A single car in 30 laps is not going to darken the track anywhere near this level. We also have the ability to see the temperature, similar to an IR camera. At the beginning of the session, it's a little bit warm down here. It's very cool up here. As we skip ahead, all of a sudden this part of the track has become very warm. This is where I was running the car. And we can also drag the little thumbnail and see the effect of time as the track cools off and returns back to its equilibrium state. Before we had fairly symmetrical tracks. Now, because the sun is shining at some angle, one side of the track might be particularly hot, and 180 degrees around the track is going to be significantly cooler because the sun isn't really pointing at that. So you're on a track where maybe you basically treated it as two equal halves. Now you need to adjust to that. With multiple cars, over a long race, you're going to have to seek out where's the grip, where is it going, how is the track changing. It's going to require a much more intelligent approach to racing. You're going to have to be able to handle the track through the life of the race. So in addition to temperature and rubber, we're also spending a lot of time working with marbles, putting them on the track where they should be. Later in a race, you can expect there to be marbles offline, and so a pass might be a little more sketchy later in the race because you're going to have to go through part of the track that has accumulated some rubber. On the oval side, if you want to venture out into, say, the outside line and nobody's been there yet, you can expect to find marbles there. I expect that the track becoming dynamic means that during a race, temperature is going to go up significantly and the grip is going to respond negatively. You will want to be anticipating that, seeking out cooler parts of the track, taking a slightly higher line for a while, testing out, is it faster up here? I fully expect it's going to break up the field. Cars are going to be trying new things. You won't be able to just take a qualifying setup and make a tiny change and then be able to run the same laps over and over. It's going to just become a much more dynamic and unpredictable experience. As significant as this first implementation is in creating a dynamic environment, it's really kind of just sets the foundation for even bigger and better things. We'll be able to handle day-night transitions and a moving sun and clouds coming in and have the track respond to that. We can look down the road and say, well, we'll want to do rain and have water on the track and have it move and have it dry according to where the tires are and how much temperature is there and how much is the sun shining. All these things that happen in a real race, we want to model them, and we are well on our way in being able to do something like that. I think it's great as an iRacing member to see this feature come to fruition. This dynamic track is something that really has been kind of discussed for a long time, and to join the team and be able to bring it to the members, myself being one of them, is very exciting. It's going to change the face of race sessions significantly and really improve the experience.
It's been a very long offseason. Teams have changed, sponsors have changed, colors and all, but one thing that hasn't, they like to mash the loud pedal. Green flag is out on the 2015 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series season.
iRacing is the ideal platform for these broadcasts because we have the best racers, the best online racers in the world, and we have such a variety of racing, from NASCAR to Grand Prix style racing, sports car, endurance racing. We do it all.
Since 2010, the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series has been the absolute pinnacle of road racing in a simulated form. Great start then by Yakoda from the front. They're packing up behind number one. They're going to be 4 wide as they come down into turn number 1 for the first time. Will they make it through that first corner? You can see them funneling through the center S's. It looks as though everyone has just about made it through. We have got ourselves some contact though, Rachel.
Side by side going into turns 3 and 4. Humpy's got the advantage, but Ottinger's not going to.
Oh, he got into him!
Ottinger gets into the 58, turns right into him, and that ends Ottinger's run.
We do a lot of live broadcasts now. Every Tuesday is NASCAR night, so on alternating Tuesdays we do the Peak Antifreeze Series, and on the other Tuesdays the B-Class Series, which is the Xfinity cars, and sometimes we'll even do some short track racing depending on the schedule. Every other Saturday we do the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series, so the best road racers we have. And we also broadcast some special events, including the Endurance Championship, which is part of the Road Warriors Series. So we broadcast the Daytona 24, the Sebring 12-hour, we'll do the Watkins Glen 6-hour, several other races along there. And then, of course, the iRacing Pro Racing Champions, which is usually our biggest and most watched event of the year.
That is short track racing, and that's how awesome this sim is, Joe. That's something you see on TV on highlight reels, and we just saw it here, live.
We invite iRacers who are real-world racers, and they compete every December. Guys like Alex Gurney, Justin Wilson, Scott Speed, Ron Capps, the list goes on. Really some big name drivers from all major forms of motorsport. It's really neat to see them get together and race together.
See Laughlin up top, down to the ball, gets turned! Laughlin gets turned! Caution is out foul at the front of the field!
The easiest place to find the broadcast is on our website, iracing.com/live. So you can find some of our races on fanschoice.tv as well. A nice place to find iRacing broadcasts.
You can also find it at mrn.com and peakauto.com.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Welcome back to LSRTV. We bring you back to the Iowa Speedway and welcome you into the Inside Sim Racing Broadcast Tower. Jacob Seelman and Justin Rosenau on the call as we're giving segment 2 of the Operation GI Barbecue 150 from Iowa Speedway. Our broadcast on LSRTV tonight presented by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold around the world, by Pure Sim Tech, and by Gravel Performance. Getting ready for another 50-lap segment, 3 segments of 50 laps in total. Going to make up the distance here tonight at the Iowa Speedway. We finished up segment 1, and we ended up with Michael Kosey Jr. taking the victory after a pass with 11 laps to go of Tim Bills, who dominated that first segment, Justin, but faded late, and Kosey was good when it counted. So what do you think we're going to see for segment 2?
In all honesty, I think we're honestly going to see a lot of guys making some adjustments. I heard from some of the guys that I race with on a regular basis, guys like the 22 of TJ Graves, the 51 of Randall Falks, and the 32 of Ryan Borges, all going to make some changes here and there on their setups. Guys are really going to get dialed in because they had their first long run on 50 laps on tires. And so they know what they need, and guys like Tim Bills probably going to make the adjustments they need, maybe sacrifice a little bit of speed at the start of the run to get what he needs back at the end of the run, and he's got a long way to go, Tim Bills does. He's going to start 18th as you see him clobber the wall here in practice. 30 seconds left for everybody to get connected, set up, ready to go in the second segment. Before we go to grid once again, these guys getting brand new cars, brand new tires, a whole new 9 yards basically virtually here in Iowa, and we'll fire them off once again for 50 more action-packed laps.
Again, best average finish of the 3 segments is going to be what determines the overall winner in the Operation GI Barbecue 150. Additional race coverage on LSRTV, presented in part by Race Chaser Online. Today's racing news, yesterday's racing history, tomorrow's racing stars. For news from across the motorsports spectrum, 2 wheels or 4, dirt or asphalt, or even right here on the web. Latest from around the world of motorsports and getting set to go. Let's take a look down the starting grid, Justin, as we get set to rock and roll for segment 2 of this Operation GI Barbecue 150.
And on the front row, on the pole for the second segment, will be the 22 of TJ Graves. Outside of him in the second spot will be the 99 of Daniel Vining.
Third is the 96 of Forrest Gregg. He is outside the 74, Robert O'Neill.
Inside row number 3, the 5th spot, going to be the 15 of Mike Alexander, and outside of him in the 6th spot will be the 33 of Mike Rhino.
Rolling off 7th, going to be the 3, Stephen Wetton, and alongside him in the 97, it's Paul Boswell, starting 8th.
9th going to the 28 of Robert Matthews, and outside of him in the 44, the Iowa Lions Club International Chevrolet, going to be the 44 of Paul Fugate.
Starting 11th inside of row number 6, going to be the 37 of Spencer Preet. Alongside him in the 12th spot, the 07 Brandon Simmons.
13th going to the 00 of Ben Kilcrease in the Phoenix Construction Toyota, and outside of him in the 14th spot, the 32 Molecule Justin Brooks Designs Racer Boost Honda Accord. going to be the 32 again of Ryan Borges.
03 Richard Holiday starts 15th into his outside. On the outside of row number 8, the 51 Randall Falls.
Row 9, the 17th spot going to be occupied by the 31 of Keith Mack, and runner-up in segment 1, the number 7 of Finn Bill is going to be on the outside in 18th.
Because of the inversion, the 88 of Michael Kosey Jr. going to be shotgun starting 19th for the second segment of the Operation GI Barbecue 150, and Ben Nile, after being 6 laps down in segment 1, going to be shotgun on the field of 20 for segment 2 of the Operation GI Barbecue 150. White flag and 1 to go signal this time by. We'll turn them loose next time for 50 more laps, Justin, and I like the 00. I know that's a far cry from what we saw in segment 1, but I think Ben Kilcrease may have a little something. He's a lot further towards the front than the 88 of Kosey and the 7 of Bills.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take one of the guys I know. How about the 51 of Randall Falks? He finished 4th there, was scrapping hard for 3rd, and told me if he had just a couple of small adjustments in the car, he really could have went up there, drove up, and won the thing. I know him. I know his driving style. He's a very aggressive driver and one of the fastest drivers I've ever had the pleasure against competing with. He really pushes me to my driving limits, and I really think he could possibly get it done here in segment 2.
We're about to find out exactly who's got what. For the start of segment 2 of the Operation GI Barbecue 150, the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car heads for the safety of the pit lane, and TJ Graves in the 22 is on the jump. The American Ethanol green flag flies, and we are underway for 50 more laps here at the Iowa Speedway. Everybody trying to fan out quickly, in trouble. One car hard in the outside wall, the 99 of Daniel Vining. Oh, just cut hard right into turn number 2. And that was a wicked hit down the back straightaway.
No caution on the speedway. Going to be tough luck for the driver of the number 99 of Daniel Vining, and that's really going to allow TJ Graves to get out to a massive lead at the stripe. 1 second the gap between him and the 74 Robert O'Neill. Just before we took the green, Dan Vining came across the radio and said that he was experiencing some kind of computer issues, so we'll have to see if that really contributed to the hard lick by the driver of the 99.
Brandon Simmons was another one that got some tough luck in that deal. I don't know if he had to check up to avoid or may have gotten a piece of that, but he drops almost 2/3 of a lap down as the 22 of TJ Graves, a 1 second lead side by side for P2 as they work down the back straightaway. Mike Rhino working to the inside of Robert O'Neill.
Mike Rhino recovering right now in the early stages of segment 2. Door to door, almost touching doors with the 74 Robert O'Neill. Not going to quite clear him here on the front straightaway. It's going to allow the 74, actually, as the 33 of Rhino does in fact actually clear the 74 of O'Neill. O'Neill taking a much higher line and then cuts it down through the middle through turns 1 and 2. Slightly different driving line for the driver from Inverness, Florida. Right behind him in the number 15 is Mike Alexander from Revolution Racing, a teammate of the 33 of Mike Rhino, and he's hard in the tire tracks of the 74 Robert O'Neill, and he's clawed himself up very well up into the top 4.
He has done well, and as they run, that lead for TJ Graves getting smaller and smaller. It's down to 0.8 of a second when they worked back past the start-finish line last time by. We're going to be 5 of 50 complete this time by the start-finish line. We'll see how much Rhino can slice into it. Battle for 3rd. Mike Alexander looking to the inside of the 74 of Robert O'Neill. That's going to be a scrap for 3rd. They fall into line for the moment in turn 1.
Oh, Alexander was getting on the inside. I thought they were going to make contact, and Alexander backs off and opens up about a 2.5 car length gap is going down now into turn number 3. Alexander running right down on the yellow line, and O'Neill still running about a car length or so off the bottom there. 2 drivers running very separate lines, and Alexander just had to get out of the throttle there to avoid making hard contact with the 74 of O'Neill.
TJ Graves is opening up a little bit of a gap now. Opens it back up to just over 0.8 of a second on Mike Rhino. So he holds the lead. Rhino 2nd. Robert O'Neill over Alexander for 3rd and 4th. Stephen Wetton rounds out your top 5 in that invert. We're slowly starting to see these guys work their way forward. Ryan Borges up to 9th. And Michael Kosey is the car that I thought was going to be able to make a lot more hay and has actually stalled out back in 15th in that 88 car.
very much stalled out right now, really trying to do what he can to get around the 14 of Ben Niley. He's got the 96 of Forrest. Greg also up on the high side, almost 3 wide off the corner. There's Cosi, does in fact clear the 14 of Ben Niley's. One car spinning around on the front stretch. Wait, it's going to be the 3 of Stephen Wetton. Caution flag out on lap number 9.
That's going to be our first Service Master Clean caution of segment 2 and our third overall here from the Iowa Speedway. And Wetton turned backward. We're going to turn a page and go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, more from the Iowa Speedway here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. TJ Graves, your leader.
Once its sights are set, nothing can stop the ferocious lion from capturing its prey. Relying on keen senses, lions search patiently before striking with alarming speed. Wait for it. Gotcha, Mr. Piece of Rubbish. He is truly the master of his environment. Do good, be a lion.
Monza is a very historic track. It's been around since the 20s, and it's gone through several permutations since then. We're also forward a number of configurations. So there's chicanes that they've installed since the track's early days. So they can use original, very high-speed configurations of the track where the cars would just blow through where the chicanes are today, or they could use a more modern version. So it's a pretty cool, compelling track. The unique thing about Monza is it has a road course, but it also has a high-speed oval, and that high-speed oval can be run by itself. The Grand Prix course can be run by itself, and they also can be run together in a combined circuit, which is very unique and special in motorsports. This was one of the more challenging projects that we've undertaken. It was essentially building 2 tracks. It took a lot of time and a lot of care was put into it, but we're really happy about the end result, and we think that people have a lot of fun driving it.
Welcome back to LSRTV under caution and getting ready to go back green flag racing here at the Iowa Speedway for the Operation GI Barbecue 150. TJ Graves over Mike Rhino is your front row, and it looks like we're going to be at least another lap and a half or so before we restart. But Justin, slowly starting to work his way forward. That 88 of our segment 1 winner, Michael Cosi Jr., finally about into the top half of the field for this restart.
Yeah, he really needed this caution flag here after that weird incident down in turn 1 on lap 1. Really kind of spread out the back of the field. One car done for the event, actually, as far as segment 2 goes. Randall Falks had to park it for a family issue that actually come up, so we'll have to see if he can make segment 3 or not. And the 7 of Tim Bills was actually well behind and actually falling off the pace of TJ, and just really no idea what was going on there with the 7 car of Tim Bills, if he's just biding his time, saving his stuff before he goes to the front or what. But he's certainly shown that he's had a fast car. Cosi right in front of him. We'll have to see just how fast Cosi can come to the front, along with the 32 of Borders, who's been like on a demon tear trying to go to the front.
I'm not convinced that that 32 is going to be the car to beat come the end of this run, though, Justin. When you've got cars that come to the front early, we talk about comers and goers all the time. They usually tend to fade later on in the run, so we'll have to wait and see. Yes, he restarts 7th, but it's still a long road to hoe. 36 laps to go when we get back to the green flag, and looks like Fugate going to be out of this race for the restart as well, per race control. So we'll follow up on that here as soon as possible. Right now, the leader going to be TJ Graves as we head back to the restart, and Paul Fugate changing tires. That's in violation of the rules for this race, so he'll be out of it for segment 2. Green flag flies. TJ Graves on the point. We head back to turn number 1, and Graves heads with a 2-car length advantage, side by side from 3rd on back.
Rhino driving up into the battle for the lead. It gets a little loose, almost gets up into the outside fence, but the old 3 of Richard Holiday right behind him in the 5th spot. Going to be up into the fence out of turn number 2, looking back up towards the point. Rhino's there, and he's knocking on the door of the 22 of TJ Graves. Going to see if he's going to go outside or inside going into turn number 1. He's going to hang it up on the high side and try to cross over underneath him, and he gives the 22 of TJ Graves a shot in the corner. The 33 of Mike Rhino gets a little loose off of turn 2 as now they get into turn number 3.
They work through turns 3 and 4, and now Borges has worked to the high lane and trying to move in on Richard Holiday. That around the 5th position, but it is still TJ Graves out front. Michael Cosi has fought his way up to the 8th position on the racetrack right now. He is coming to the front now, and they're wheel to wheel back from 4th through 7th, 2 by 2 in that battle, a 4-car tango with Cosi right behind.
There's actually about 10 cars on the racetrack within 1 second of each other. You got Tim Bills also making his way up as well. He's right almost to the heels of Michael Cosi, who's just up ahead of a couple cars ahead of the 7 of Tim Bills. Bills got a track blocked in front of him. Same thing with Michael Cosi. He's got the track blocked in front of him. He's got the 37 of Spencer Preet and the 32 of Ryan Borges blocking the track, so he really has to bide his time to do it safely. Oh, and trouble! 1 car spinning, 3, 4 cars spinning. The 32 of Ryan Borges, the 37 of Spencer Preet, the 88 of Michael Cosi, and the 74 of Robert O'Neill, along with the 96 of Forrest Gregg, going to get damage in that as well.
That's a 5-car incident from about 5th to 9th. 4 of our top 10 runners were involved in that one. Justin, they were just going out of my view and right past your view when it all broke loose right there around the 32 of Borges.
Yeah, it looked like trouble up there. Replay on your screen right now. You're going to see what happened coming off of turn number 4. The 74 of O'Neill got into the wall, and the 37 of Spencer Preet, the 32 of Ryan Borges just got collected in that happen. And also 1 car, important to note, the 7 of Tim Bills. Heavy damage on that machine. He got as a tail end piece of that heavy, and I cannot stress enough, heavy front end damage on the 7 machine of Tim Bills. So a lot of contenders getting taken out here in segment 2 here because of that, and that's really going to allow TJ Graves a chance to really look at trying to run away with this.
And the biggest thing too about that, Justin, that's the top 2 from segment 1, and we're wanting overall lowest average finish. That is going to be very, very hard to overcome with only 1 segment of 50 laps to go in this race after we get to lap 100.
It's all going to depend on how well you fix your damaged car on pit road and where you can recover to really give you a shot at claiming the overall title. And if you're TJ Graves, you already finished 19th on the racetrack. You really have to win this and go out and win the next one to have any shot at winning the overall, or at least finishing in the top 5. And we're going to take this opportunity once again to urge you viewers, fans, to go ahead and take whatever you can, whether it's $1, $5, $10, whatsoever, and go to the Fast Sim Racing homepage at www.fastsimracing.com, and there's a link that will allow you to directly donate to Operation GI Barbecue. And again, almost $300 raised here just through driver donations and team donations here, and we're hoping to get somewhere up in the neighborhood of $400. We need your help to do it, folks. Whatever you can donate, we could certainly appreciate that, and you'll be sending a piece of home to our troops overseas.
Under caution lap 22 of segment 2, lap 62 overall in the Operation GI Barbecue 150, and current leader of segment 2 is TJ Graves, Mike Rhino second, Mike Alexander third, Richard Holiday fourth. Ben Kilcrease slips through the melee to round out the top 5 as they run, with still 28 to go in this segment, 78 to go overall in the race. We're coming up on the halfway point here, Justin, so still a lot of racing to go, and at the same time, we're starting to run out of laps here, at least in segment 2. If you want to make a move, you got to make it quick.
Yeah, and if your drivers like Tim Bills, Ryan Borges, you've shown you had some fast cars, along with the 88 of Michael Cosi Jr., you really have to go to pit road, fix your damage, but be careful not to take tires, because that will disqualify you, in this segment. And that's really going to allow drivers like the 33 of Mike Rhino, the 15 of Mike Alexander, and again, your leader, the 22 of TJ Graves, to really take the opportunity to capitalize on these drivers' misfortune and really put themselves back into contention for the overall win.
The overall win is the prize that everyone is chasing, and we are still 77 laps away from handing that trophy out. We'll see exactly what happens and how they stack up when we get to the end of segment 2 here with 100 overall laps complete. But right now, segment 2 leader TJ Graves has really used the invert to his advantage, and we'll see if he can hold on now. The biggest thing about the invert, though, Justin, is as they run, we're only going to have 13 or maybe even only 12 cars to invert, because we only invert the lead lap cars. If you're a lap or more down, you start segment 3 the way you finished segment 2. So this is really gonna help some of these guys like a TJ Graves, because he's not gonna have to come near as far up through the field in as they run right now.
That's certainly going to be the case, and if you're Tim Bills, where do you try to finish and try to capitalize on the invert? I mean, this could really be a segment of gamesmanship, as the lights are off on the Ford First iRacing.com pace car, and the field stacks up behind your leader TJ Graves, and the outside pole sitter on the restart going to be Mike Rhino in the 33, the 03 of Richard Holiday going to be right behind Rhino in fourth, and I forget to mention the 15 of Mike Alexander, and that beautifully painted number 15 R&R Kinsman Fast Sim Racing Team Loud Pedal sponsored Ford Mustang number 15 car, and we're going to restart there in third.
Ready to restart, and that Ford First Mustang pace car makes that hard left turn to pit road. TJ Graves on the hammer again. We're back underway, and the American Ethanol green flag flies over the field. Graves to the point as we're working the halfway lap here. The Operation GI Barbecue 150. Richard Holiday to the outside looking for second. Almost gets used up by Mike Rhino. They're wheel to wheel headed for turn number 3, and now we're going to settle it out. I think Rhino coming to the cross flags in second. Graves, your leader at halfway.
Graves is the leader at halfway. Trouble striking the 03 of Holiday. Gets hard in the outside wall there in turn number 4. Is Mike Rhino on the back bumper. Looking to the outside now on the back straightaway of TJ Graves as they're door to door now going into 3.
That's a wheel-to-wheel fight, 2 by 2, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, all right under a blanket. While we're just past halfway, let's go ahead and take a look at your Ford First mid-race report and take a look down the Ford full field. Mike Rhino, who I think is trying to make the pass for the lead. Richard Holiday scored third, Keith Mack fourth, Mike Alexander fifth, sixth to Ben Kilcrease, seventh Michael Cosi, eighth Robert Matthews, ninth Stephen Wetton, and 10th Ryan Borges, as indeed we've got a lead change on lap number 27 of segment 2. Mike Rhino to the top of the board.
11th going to be the 14 of Ben Nile, the 7 of Tim Bills, last car in the lead lap in 12. 4 laps down in 13th, the 74 of Robert O'Neill. Spencer Preet, 14th, and 15th going to the 97 of Paul Boswell. The 96 of Boris Gregg going to be 16th, 17th, Paul Fugate in the 44. 51, Randall Falks out of this event right now in the 18th spot. 19th going to the 07 of Brandon Simmons. 99, Daniel Vining out on that lap 1 incident. He's going to be scored 20th.
That's a look at your Ford full field rundown here as we work lap number 79 overall of the Operation GI Barbecue 150 Ford. Go further. Mike Rhino, your new race leader. TJ Graves not ready to throw in the towel just yet. He's less than a car length off. And side by side for third, how about Michael Kosey? Worked his way through the field, and your segment 1 winner is going for a spot on the podium in segment 2.
On the bottom, almost touching fenders out of turn number 4. Kosey working to the inside of the blinking Holiday machine up on the high side. Kosey driving back. He's got a little bit of damage there right behind the right front wheel there. Very minor damage on the 88 machine. He's now in third, and he's got a sight set on TJ Graves just up ahead of him in second.
If I'm anybody racing around Richard Holiday right now, I'm nervous as all because that blinking is only liable to get worse. And Justin, we talk about warp all the time on this sim. You don't know where they're going to show back up. They show up right on top of you, and you've got yourself a major melee on your hands.
Yes, you do, and that can very seriously damage your race car. And if you have a car that appears on top of yours, if you're running more tape on your super late model, it's really going to work at blowing up the engine really easy. You got the 22 of TJ Graves still within a car length of Mike Rhino as Kosey closing the gap steadily, as the gap last time was 0.6 of a second. Now inside of 0.6, almost 5.5 that last time by. He's coming, folks, and he's coming hard. 2 car lengths the gap between him and Graves out of 2.
And Justin, you were talking to me earlier today that you didn't think that because of the invert rules that anybody could sweep all 3 segments. All of a sudden, Kosey is trying to come up on these top 2 and maybe win segment 2. If he does that, I like his chances, especially with only, as they run now, having to come from 11th.
Certainly could be, especially with the, like I said, it really depended on how many cars are going to finish a lap down 11 cars now on the lead lap here in this event. Ben Nile fell out of the server, so that's 1 more car that's not going to get inverted in the next segment of 50 laps here for the Operation GI Barbecue 150 here on LSRTV. We got Mike Rhino opening up a gap about 3 car lengths or so out of turn number 2. Michael Kosey working the back deck. Look at the 22 machine. Very hard out of turn number 2, and again, Graves shuts the door on the 88 of Kosey as they work out of turn number 4.
And make it 10 cars to invert. Ryan Borges just fell a lap down in the number 32. So we now have just half the field remaining on the lead lap. Look at the move by the 88 of Kosey. Down low, makes the slide job work on the 22 of TJ Graves. Graves gives him a little bit of a wrap down the back straightaway, but now Kosey is clear, and he's going to have 14 laps to go to work on the leader.
He's got plenty of time to do it. A very long lap here at the Iowa Speedway compared to other short tracks on the iRacing.com service. Laps going by right now in the 24.5 second bracket, as now Kosey got his sights set on Mike Rhino as TJ Graves hard in the wall out of 2.
I love how Kosey made the pass around Graves last time by and was still nearly a 10th quicker than Mike Rhino. He's got the best car on the property. He's a quarter second faster last time by, and he's looking for the lead. Coming in 12 laps to go. Kosey taking a peek down on the bottom off 2.
Taking a peek to the bottom, he is. That gap closed in a big hurry as Mike Rhino got up into the turn 4 wall the last time by on lap number 37. This is lap 38 going into the books. Rhino's loose out of 4 once again. Kosey looking to the inside, not going to make it happen as he's now diving to the inside, door to door in 1.
Yeah, Kosey just turned left because he thought Rhino was coming down the track. They're wheel-to-wheel for the lead down the back straightaway. Kosey's right up to the door of the 33 of Rhino. They work into turn number 3. He's going to get a good run through the center of the corner. Washes up the racetrack a little bit. They're wheel-to-wheel coming to the line. Survey says he is not going to lead the lap, but he's going to have the advantage to 1. He may take the lead on lap 40, almost exactly like he did in segment 1, rather. Kosey down the back straightaway. They're dead even.
Dead heat into turn number 3. Kosey's going to roll the advantage through turns number 3 and 4 and kind of uses the 33 up and gets into him. Both cars very loose out of turn 4. Kosey, the new leader at the stripe.
10 laps to go in segment 2, and this is why every position is crucial. Kosey, trying to have a perfect record at the end of 2 segments, put himself in prime position to sweep here in the closing laps, but Mike Rhino not ready to give in just yet. It's a 1/10 of a second, make it 2/10 across the stripe, 9 to go.
You want to know something? If I'm Michael Kosey, I'm looking at my relative and I'm seeing that Tim Bills in the 7 car is just only a couple seconds ahead of me, in the neighborhood of about 4.5 seconds actually. If I'm Michael Kosey, I want to go put the 7 machine of Tim Bills a lap down so he does not secure the pole for the final segment.
Absolutely, because he finished second in segment 1, so that would be an advantage. And, you know, you talk about strategy. These guys are working the numbers, maybe not to the extent that we are up here in the broadcast booth, Justin, but they know that, you know, they know who they're racing against for the overall win, and right now, Kosey knows if he can lock Bill outside of the top 9 for the restart and keep him off the pole position, that could easily be the move that puts him in overall victory lane at the end of the night. He's a second quicker than Bills. He is probably going to get there because we've only got 6 laps to go.
6 laps to go when the leader takes the stripe this next time by, and you got TJ Graves getting all kinds of loose. Everywhere but straight is the number 22 double clutch Short Track America Chevrolet of TJ Graves, and that gap starting to open up once again between himself and the 33 of Mike Rhino for the second spot. Rhino doing everything he can to hold off the driver from Wall Township, New Jersey behind him, and gotta really love the Canadian contingent. They're doing very well here in segment 2 as you have the 33 of Rhino running up front in the second spot. You got the 31 of Keith Mack in 6th, and his teammate, the 15 of Mike Alexander in 7th, and 8th goes to the 28 of Robert Matthews. All 4 of those drivers, all Canadian.
Couple of drivers that took tires and as such have been disqualified out of segment number 2, the latest being Spencer Preet, the 37, though he had damage earlier on from that multi-car crash around halfway, Justin. So now a couple of these guys going to have a big hole for the start of segment 3. The guy who probably won't have a hole, Michael Kosey. He may well only have to come from 9th in this final segment. He is rapidly closing on Tim Bills. We're coming to 3 laps to go, and I think next time by the stripe, he's going to put his closest rival 1 lap down.
3 laps to go at the stripe, and he's right there looking at the inside of Bills. Bills going to give way to the 88 of Kosey, and that's going to end his bid to start on the point in the last segment. And Kosey just 1 step closer now to taking the overall win. Kosey clear by over 1.5 seconds over Mike Rhino as he works out of turn number 4. 2 laps to go at the line.
Yeah, did we mention the 88 has been good? He's been in the top 3 in practice speed since the start of the night. He won segment 1. He's about to win segment 2, and he's got 1.5 seconds in hand down the back straightaway. Best battle on the racetrack is about 4th place. The 00 of Ben Kilcrease, the 03 of Richard Holliday. We're going to get the white flag this time by.
White flag in the air for your leader, Michael Kosey, as he comes out of turn number 4, crossing the start-finish line right now. Going to be a battle for 3rd on the white flag lap. Gilcrease is there. He wants to get to the 22 of TJ Graves, who's had nothing but problems over the last couple laps or so. And Gilcrease on the bottom, not necessarily going to get there as he works towards turn number 3. The leader in turn number 4 right now. Checker flag waving in the air. He's won segment 1. He's going to win segment 2. Michael Kosey parks it in victory lane here in segment 2.
Well, I mean, I don't know that we can say checkered flag, more like a competition caution flag, Justin. They'll throw the yellow right here and get it done for segment 2, but Michael Kosey is a perfect 2 for 2. He's not led the most laps in either segment, but he's led the laps that's counted. The 33 Mike Rhino second, 22 TJ Graves. Ben Kilcrease in the 00 is 4th, and Richard Holliday rounds out the top 5 in segment 2 of the Operation GI Barbecue 150. So, kids, we're going to get ready to do it one more time. 50 more laps on the way right after this. You're watching LSRTV, and the conclusion of the Operation GI Barbecue 150 is coming up right after this from Iowa Speedway. This is LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
I'm Dan Garrison, software engineer at iRacing. Since the beginning of Papyrus and through iRacing, the track has been unchanging through a session. Whatever you have at the beginning is what you have for the duration of the session and the end. The track doesn't change. What we want to do is be able to have the track respond to what's going on, to have cars interact with the track, to have the track change in temperature, in the amount of rubber. We want marbles, and we want those to be generated by the cars, putting them where they should be and picking them up and rethrowing them off the race line. It's a physical-based model that we focus on first and foremost. The tire and the track interaction, what's really going on there. It would be easy to just quickly throw something together. Our standards are, it needs to make sense. What's really going on, even at the molecular level between the track and the tire. The way the track works, essentially, is we divide it up into small cells that your car interacts with. So if you're adding temperature to a certain part of the track, we can pretty accurately know exactly where that is. That gets transmitted to the server. So if I'm in a race, my data is going to the server with everybody else in the session. The server accumulates that and basically broadcasts a consistent track state to everyone, so everyone's got the same track that they're racing on. One of the big challenges was being able to implement this dynamic track with any number of clients connected and have it just work as you would expect. Have it be the same for everyone in the service who's in a session. So to kind of give a little bit of a preview of the state of things right now, I basically have run a number of laps at 5 Flags with the effects exaggerated for demonstration purposes so that we can kind of immediately see what's going on with the track. Right here is basically the track at the beginning of the session. There is a little bit of rubber on there that's put programmatically. That's the starting state of this track, and it's fairly low rubber at this point. If we skip ahead to the end, I did about 30 laps, so at the very end you can kind of see all this darkened in right here. This is where I was running the car, so well, there you go. And again, this is exaggerated. A single car in 30 laps is not going to darken the track anywhere near this level. We also have the ability to see the temperature, similar to an IR camera. At the beginning of the session, it's a little bit warm down here. It's very cool up here. As we skip ahead, all of a sudden this part of the track has become very warm. This is where I was running the car. And we can also drag the little thumbnail and see the effect of time as the track cools off and returns back to its equilibrium state. Before we had fairly symmetrical tracks. Now, because the sun is shining at some angle, one side of the track might be particularly hot, and 180 degrees around the track is going to be significantly cooler because the sun isn't really pointing at that. So you're on a track where maybe you basically treated it as 2 equal halves. Now you need to adjust to that. With multiple cars over a long race, you're going to have to seek out where's the grip, where is it going, how is the track changing. It's going to require a much more intelligent approach to racing. You're going to have to be able to handle the track through the life of the race. So in addition to temperature and rubber, we're also spending a lot of time working with marbles, putting them on the track where they should be. Later in a race, you can expect there to be marbles offline, and so a pass might be a little more sketchy later in the race because you're going to have to go through part of the track that has accumulated some rubber. On the oval side, if you want to venture out into, say, the outside line and nobody's been there yet, you can expect to find marbles there. I expect that the track becoming dynamic means that during a race, temperature is going to go up significantly and the grip is going to respond negatively. You will want to be anticipating that, seeking out cooler parts of the track, taking a slightly higher line for a while, testing out, is it faster up here? I fully expect it's going to break up the field. Cars are going to be trying new things. You won't be able to just take a qualifying setup and make a tiny change and then be able to run the same laps over and over. It's going to just become a much more dynamic and unpredictable experience. As significant as this first implementation is in creating a dynamic environment, it's really kind of just sets the foundation for even bigger and better things. We'll be able to handle day-night transitions and a moving sun and clouds coming in and have the track respond to that. We can look down the road and say, well, we'll want to do rain and have water on the track and have it move and have it dry according to where the tires are and how much temperature is there and how much is the sun shining. All these things that happen in a real race, we want to model them, and we are well on our way in being able to do something like that. I think it's great as an iRacing member to see this feature come to fruition. This dynamic track is something that really has been kind of discussed for a long time, and to join the team and be able to bring it to the members, myself being one of them, is very exciting. It's going to change the face of race sessions significantly and really improve the experience.
Once its sights are set, nothing can stop the ferocious lion from capturing its prey. Relying on keen senses, lions search patiently before striking with alarming speed. Wait for it. Gotcha, Mr. Piece of Rubbish. He is truly the master of his environment. Do good, be a lion.
It's been a very long offseason. Teams have changed, sponsors have changed, colors and all, but one thing that hasn't, they like to mash the loud pedal. Green flag is out on the 2015 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series season.
iRacing is the ideal platform for these broadcasts because we have the best racers, the best online racers in the world, and we have such a variety of racing, from NASCAR to Grand Prix style racing, sports car endurance racing. We do it all.
Since 2010, the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series has been the absolute pinnacle of road racing in a simulated form. Great start then by Yakoda from the front. They're packing up behind number one. They're going to be 4 wide as they come down into turn number 1 for the first time. Will they make it through that first corner? You can see them funneling through the center S's. It looks as though everyone is just about made it through. We have got ourselves some contact though, Rachel.
Side by side going into turns 3 and 4. Humpy's got the advantage with Ottinger's not going to.
Oh, he got into him!
Ottinger gets into the 58, turns right into him, and that ends Ottinger's run.
We do a lot of live broadcasts now. Every Tuesday is NASCAR night, so on alternating Tuesdays we do the Peak Antifreeze Series, and on the other Tuesdays the B-Class Series, which is the Xfinity cars, and sometimes we'll even do some short track racing depending on the schedule. Every other Saturday we do the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series, so the best road racers we have. And we also broadcast some special events, including the Endurance Championship, which is part of the Road Warrior Series. So we broadcast the Daytona 24, the Sebring 12 hour. We'll do the Watkins Glen 6 hour, several other races along there. And then, of course, the iRacing Pro Racing Champions, which is usually our biggest and most watched event of the year.
That is short track racing, and that's how awesome this sim is, Joe. That's something you see on TD on highlight reels, and we just saw it here, live.
We invite iRacers who are real-world racers, and they compete every December. Guys like Alex Gurney, Justin Wilson, Scott Speed, Ron Capps, the list goes on. Really some big-name drivers from all major forms of motorsport. It's really neat to see them get together and race together.
See Laughlin up top, down to the ball, gets turned! Laughlin gets turned! Caution is out foul at the front of the field!
The easiest place to find the broadcast is on our website, iracing.com/live. So you can find some of our races on fanschoice.tv as well. A nice place to find iRacing broadcasts.
You can also find it at mrn.com and peakauto.com.
Once again, welcome back to LSRTV, the voice of sim racing, as Jacob Zillman and Justin Rosenau back here at the Iowa Speedway, getting ready to start the third and final segment of the Operation GI Barbecue 150 tonight in the heartland of America. And as we get ready to go green flag for the final segment, again, our coverage brought to you by Lucas Oil Products, made in America, sold around the world by Operation GI Barbecue. The nationwide effort to bring a little bit of home to our troops who are in harm's way, and by Overnight Wraps, the number one source for vehicle wraps across America. Visit overnightwraps.com for more information and to expand advertising without increasing your budget. All right, Justin, the storyline of the night has been Michael Kosey Jr., who won segment 1, then he came from the back and won segment 2. Now he's going to come from 9th to try to win and make it a clean sweep here at Iowa Speedway. 9 cars finished on the lead lap. We invert them. He starts inside of row number 5 as the field rolls away. But what that does is it puts the 3 of Stephen Wetton on the pole alongside the 28 of Robert Matthews. Let's go through the Ford First starting grid.
And in the number 15, that will be Mike Alexander from Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, Canada. He will start third, and outside of him from Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, as well as teammate 31 of Keith Mack.
03 Richard Holiday, and 00 Ben Kilcrease on row 3.
From Wall Township, New Jersey, in the 7th spot, the 22 of TJ Graves, and outside of him in the number 33 from Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, as well, the number 33 of Mike Rhino.
The 88 of our two-time segment winner, Michael Kosey Jr., starts 9th. The 7 of Tim Bills starts 10th. As the white flag goes in the air, signifying next time by, we're green for 50 more laps.
Inside row number 6 going to be the 32 Rutland Masses. Ryan Borges going to come in the 32 there. The 74 Robert O'Neill from Iverness, Florida in 12th.
13th tonight going to be the 97 Paul Boswell. Spencer Preet starting 14th in the 37.
The number 14 in the 15th spot will be Ben Nile from New Vineyard, Maine, and outside of him, Statesville, North Carolina's Randall Falks.
Forrest Gregg and Paul Fugate on row number 9. Brandon Simmons and Daniel Vining rounding out the 20-man field. The final 50 laps upcoming at tonight's Operation GI Barbecue 150 from the Iowa Speedway, America's racetrack. We're glad you're with us for 50 more action-packed laps of super late model racing here on LSRTV. The iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car going to make the hard left turn onto pit road, and leaves the field in the hands of Stephen Wetton. The American Ethanol green flag goes in the air. We are underway for the final 50 laps of the GI Barbecue 150. Contact, they're 3 wide into turn 1. Michael Kosey ready to jump on the gas. We're green.
Kosey on the loud pedal on the bottom, 3 wide inside of TJ Graves and the 00 of Ben Kilcrease. Graves having a heck of a time after, contact, 1 car, hard in the wall, 00.
It's Kilcrease! On his lid, Kilcrease barrel rolls 3-4 times down the banking, and just like that, we are cautioned on the first lap of the 3rd and final segment after Ben Kilcrease barrel rolls about 4 times overall before coming to rest at the bottom of turn number 3.
Tough luck from the driver from Kinston, Alabama. Ben Kilcrease and the 00s had a strong run all night long. That's going to end his bid for the overall win. You'll see the replay come up on your screen and into turn number 3. Graves, in the 00 of, Ben Kilcrease, all trying to go for the same space on the racetrack, and Graves just kind of pushed up, and the 00 of Kilcrease comes down on him and goes across the nose of the number 22, and Kilcrease just goes for that wild ride, flipping end over end, and does a nose stand and lands on all 4s.
So under the Service Master clean caution for the first time in segment number 3, and again, we want to remind you, if you're just tuning in here on LSRTV, the overall winner of tonight's GI Barbecue 150 is going to be the driver with the best average finish among the 3 segments. It looks like the 99 of Daniel Vining did not take the green flag in segment 3, so he'll be credited with a 20th place overall result. Right now, Stephen Wetton, your race leader, he started on the pole of this 3rd segment, and well, he gets off to a good start and is going to lead some early laps, Justin, but the 88 of Michael Kosey already up to 7th, and I'm telling you what, he'd like to make it a clean sweep tonight.
He sure would. I tell you what, the 88 of Kosey, really a strong car on the racetrack. He won segment 1, won segment 2, and was going to take it 3 wide there just before the caution flag flew there on lap 1. He wants to go up there and take down that $10 Slick Miss Triple Threat award for the driver that sweeps all 3 races.
Bonus money, and who doesn't like that? He's going to have to pass 6 more cars, though, including the 3 of Stephen Wetton, who leads this race over the 28 of Robert Matthews, Keith Mack, Alexander, Richard Holiday rounding out the top 5, and Justin Keith Mack is the driver that we got to keep an eye on. If he wins this segment and the 88 of Kosey finishes 9th or worse, Mack would be able to sneak this out, but it's gonna be tight. If it's 8th, they're tied, and our friends at Fast still working to give us the information on what exactly the tiebreaker will be. 8th is tied, 9th would ensure that Keith Mack wins it outright if he were to win this final segment.
Keith Mack, a very strong driver. He's won 2 times the Super Late Model Championship in the Maritime iRacing League that used to be broadcasted here on LSRTV. Very strong driver out of Canada. He certainly has the chops to do it, and he's got the team to help him get him there. He's got his teammate right behind him in the number 15. That's Mike Alexander. Those 2 guys, very strong competitors in real-life racing as well. Keith Mack, very strong, and right behind the 3 of Stephen Wetton. He's biding his time, but he can't wait too long because he's got Kosey coming up like a bat out of hell.
Well, this is about to get good. We're just going to be, when we get the green flag again, about a half dozen laps into this race, Justin, and we've already seen drama. It takes a little bit to get a super late model barrel rolling, but we did it here in turn 3 at Iowa Speedway, and so that means we're going to have a long way to go yet. For Stephen Wetton, he just wants to end Kosey's unbeaten streak. Kosey would like to prove that he's the best super late model of the night here at Iowa Speedway. I think we're going to get the 1 to go signal this time by, so we'll get a restart with 106 of 150 laps complete in the Operation GI Barbecue 150. Justin, again, for anybody who might just be tuning in, how do you go and donate to what has been a great cause for us tonight here on LSRTV and Operation GI Barbecue?
Yes, you can do that by going to the homepage at Fast Sim Racing, www.est simracing.com, and there's a link right there on the homepage if you scroll down, and it'll say donate directly to Operation GI Barbecue. Click that link, and if you donate $5, $10, $15, $1, I mean, if everybody in the world contributes $1, we can contribute so much to our troops stationed overseas. And it's not just American troops, Canadian troops, British troops, whoever is part of the alliance will also benefit in this charity as well.
Gearing up for a restart. The field working through turns 3 and 4. Going to withdraw the Service Master Clean Caution flag and see Stephen Wetton lead the field back to green. The iRacing Ford First Mustang Picks car is gone. American Ethanol green flag waves again. And this restart presented by American Ethanol. If it's good enough for NASCAR, it's good enough for your car. American made, American grown, powering NASCAR. Side by side for the lead off turn number 2. Robert Matthews peeking the nose out in front. He wants to take the lead, and he does, headed for turn 3.
Robert Matthews is a strong competitor in the SARA series. He runs on Thursday nights in the iRacing.com world, and going to claim the lead for the first time here tonight. He's got the 03 of Richard Holiday now right behind them. Oh, in trouble! One car around is the 31 of Keith Mack, the 88 of Michael Cosi involved as well.
This is not what Michael Cosi wanted to see. Caution flag flies at lap 108, and that's going to be trouble. Justin, it was right in front of you.
Replay going on the screen right now, and it just looks like the 88 of Cosi just drove through the 31 of Keith Mack and did a lot of damage to the left side of that race car. And it's going to be interesting to see what race control decides, because they could send Michael Cosi all the way to the rear.
Bro, that's not what two-time segment winners. Oh, you know what? I'm looking at this replay a second time, Justin, and I believe he had a little bit of help from behind. I think the 33 of Mike Rhino, it was kind of an accordion effect. Rhino gave the 88 a shot, the 88 gave the 31 a shot, and it was on from there.
It's certainly going to be interesting as race control certainly play a key factor in who's going to come out on this incident, who's going to be sent to the rear, who's going to be the guy that gets to keep his spot, and it could certainly benefit Michael Cosi if he does not, in fact, indeed get the black flag. But he does have heavy damage on that machine. The first 2 segments he had no damage at all. Front and rear damage on the 88 as well. As you see the 88 of Michael Cosi coming down onto pit road right now. Your overall leader through 1 and 2 segments in this race on pit road to come down and fix damage on that machine.
He's going to have to do it in a hurry, or maybe do it in a series of several pit stops, because he's not going to have a lot of time. Pulls away. He wants to make sure he does not go a lap down. That is the last thing you need right now. And Justin, I want to look and see exactly who is behind Cosi and Keith Mack as far as points, because that's going to be the driver that may get a big benefit out of all this. It's actually Richard Holiday, who was 5th in both of the first 2 segments, and he is going to be the one that could get a huge break running 4th right now in segment 3. Could he steal this one away, perhaps?
He certainly could. He's got to have the help of some more cautions, and hopefully the 88 of Michael Cosi, if you're Richard Holiday, was going to find more trouble on the racetrack, as Cosi going to cycle down to the last car on the lead lap in the 18th spot, as Keith Mack going to restart right in front of him, but heavy damage on that machine as well. So if you're Richard Holiday, you want more cautions.
And the EOL penalty dropping to the tail end of the longest line is actually going to go to the car that I thought maybe race control would see as the beginning of that accordion effect. The 33 of Mike Rhino going to have to drop to the tail. So that changes the way you look at this just a little bit, and it puts Richard Holiday in the catbird seat with 40 laps to go.
It certainly does. One car moving up from the back of the pack yet. Parked for the 2nd segment. He's for the 3rd segment. The 51 of Randall Falks up 6 spots from the 16th place position that he started in. He's now up.
We're going to be at least another lap, Justin. So before we go back green, if you're Michael Cosi right now, what's going through your mind, or how do you mentally rebound from this, as long as your car still has enough speed to be able to drive forward and at least pick some spots up? How do you mentally keep yourself calm right now and just work back through the field to get to the top 10 and have a shot at this?
If you're Michael Kosey, you have damage on your car. You're going to lose about a tenth, a second, a lap in race speed. You're still pretty fast. You just need to patiently pick your way up, and your goal is to hit that 7th spot. And I wouldn't say by any means necessary, because you certainly could be racking up the incident points. Remember, 3 and you're done for the overall event. Kosey has 0 entering this. If he causes 3 cautions here in this race, he will be parked and basically be out of contention for any of that overall money at the end of the night.
Lights out on the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car, and it's going to put Robert Matthews and Mike Alexander on the front row for this restart. Stephen Wetton and Holiday, who I believe unofficially right now is going to move into the top spot as far as the overall average finish. And that lowest average finish is going to be the guy who wins in the overall standings. Holiday unofficially takes the lead in that running in the 0-3 TJ Graves, rounding out the top 5 as we get set to go back green. For all your cleaning needs, get Service Master Clean as we get ready to withdraw the Service Master Clean yellow trucks from the racetrack. Visit servicemasterclean.com for more information. And we're getting ready for a restart, Justin, and this could be the most gritty restart we've had all night long.
Certainly could be. You got several guys up there that want to take the lead as the pace car dives to pit road. Green flag in the air. Great restart by British Columbia's 28. That's Robert Matthews as Mike Alexander spins the tires on the high side. That's really going to allow the inside line to move up, and that's going to allow the 22 of TJ Grace, the 32 of Ryan Borges, and the 51 of Randall Folks to capitalize out of 2.
Keep an eye on where the 88 of Kosey goes on this restart. If he can quickly move his way back through the field, or if he is going to get stuck, mired in traffic. Right now, that car looks like it still has some speed. He restarted 16th. He's already picked off 1 spot to the 15th position, and on the bottom, he's looking for more. Robert Matthews, your race leader, with 35 laps to go in the Operation GI Barbecue 150. It's a log jam from 4th on back there, wheel to wheel.
4th trying to be contested right now between the 32 of Ryan Borges, the 15 of Mike Alexander. Still on the high side, got the 03 of Richard Holiday in the mix, along with the driver from Statesville, North Carolina. That's going to be Randall Foltz in the 51. Now working to the inside of the 51, or excuse me, the 15. The opposite numbers there of Mike Alexander. You got Ryan Borges trying to go 3 wide with TJ Graves and Stephen Wetton in front of them.
No fear in that 32 of Borges. Kosey back in the pack in that 88, going to pick off another spot, go to the 13th position now, 2.4 seconds off the lead. But we have to remember a caution flag in this 3rd segment that takes out some cars is going to really help that 88 machine. And Justin, right now, the way these guys are racing, I wouldn't put it past them. They look like we could have trouble at any moment. They're 3 wide again off 4.
Tim Bills wisely lets off. It was on the outside quarter panel, the 15 of Mike Alexander, and Tim Bills letting Mike Alexander know that he's not going to necessarily be very kind to that. As they're 3 wide again, and whoa, 1 car in the wall, Stephen Wetton into the backstretch wall.
Wetton led a couple laps early in this segment. I'm watching the guy who led overall coming into this race. Michael Kosey picks off another one. Moves to 12, 2 cars in the wall right behind him down the front straightaway. The 7 and the 15. Tim Bills and Mike Alexander get into it. They spin in turn 1.
Trouble, 1 car around. It's going to be the 7 of Tim Bills, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have some very angry tempered people as Tim Bill's going to come back up through the pack. It's really going to be interesting to see if he seeks retaliation on the 15 of Mike Alexander, who did seek retaliation on the 7 of Tim Bills.
Well, Justin, now what? 31 to go.
31 to go, but if you're Michael Kosey, you're liking what you see in front of you as long as you can stay out of it. He's already up to the 10th spot and basically almost bulletproofed his way into the overall win if he can finish where he's at right now in the 10th spot. And I have to say that the 28 of Matthews really looks like he has a strong car, but it's really about those 3 loud pedal affiliated cars right behind them. The 22 of TJ Graves in second, the 32 of Ryan Borges in third, and the 51 of Randall Falks, who's clawed his way up from 16th, and it has done it in style. But how about the 03 of Richard Holiday? He's hung tough, but he's blinking, and that could very well present a big issue as we work towards the latter stages of this race.
Still got a long way to go, though, and Matthews leads TJ Graves, who for a while, Justin, I thought was going to win that second segment, hanging on in second. Borges is up to third, but Cosi fighting his way into the top 10, and with that move on the restart, takes back the lead in the overall standings with 30 laps remaining here at the Iowa Speedway. He rides 10th, and we still got a little ways to go yet, so it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out. Drama aplenty at Iowa.
Drama is certainly thick here, and nobody's saying anything right now. It's very eerily silent right now over the driver channels, and I have to say it's going to be a big investigation right now with the admins right now in the race server. They're trying to decide who's going to be assigned fault, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get a double EOL.
Well, those are words I haven't heard in a while, and you know, with as much contact as was between the two of them coming down the front straightaway, I mean, I was watching that, Justin, from the exit of 4 all the way to turn 1 before they hit the outside wall. It really looked like those two were almost locked together. There's the EOL for Mike Alexander in the 15. Tim Bilsdow's already at the tail of the lead lap, so really, those two are going to be back there together when it comes down to it.
If you're Michael Coach, the 15 of Alexander there as that running, though, but he's falling to the back of the pack. We may actually see fireworks once again here before the night's over.
Fireworks at a short track race. Who would have thunk that?
I'm raising my hand. I know you guys can't see it, but I'm raising my hand. I knew at some point somebody was going to get frustrated with one another in Emperor's Flare. But how about Statesville, North Carolina's Randall Falks? Started this segment in 16th. Couldn't necessarily run all of segment 2, but he's got himself in a great position to really take advantage here on this restart. Should TJ Graves in front of him, the two teammates there from Team Loud Pedal. Those guys, if they get a good restart, it's anybody's guess as to whether or not Randall Falks can run away with this segment, as Michael Cosi Jr. is still in the 10th spot.
You realize that Falks hails from about, 45 minutes from my house, if that?
Not necessarily. My geography in North Carolina, not necessarily my strong suit, because only have been within about, I'd say about a half hour or so of North Carolina in my entire life. Closest I've ever been is Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So, yeah, driver from Statesville, North Carolina. Very strong driver indeed. And how about Holiday right next to him in 5th there? Apex, North Carolina. Where would that be in?
That would be my friend, but two North Carolina natives doing my home state proud here in 4th and 5th as they run right now. But the guy that we've got all of our eyes on as we're going to get the 1-to-go signal here and gear up for a restart with 26 laps to go when we get the green flag is the ARC number 88 of Michael Cosi, who is going to restart on the outside of row number 5, but has done exactly what he needs to do in working methodically back through the field and currently leads the overall standings once again after being involved in a crash early on in this 3rd and final segment. I don't know, he still looked as fast as he's ever been, Justin, and I still think if he can get through some of the melees, he's got a shot to win this 3rd segment and make it a clean sweep.
He certainly could do that, but he's got a long way to go, and starting to be a short time to get there. We're coming up. It's going to be the halfway lap when we take the green flag. Lights off on the pace car, getting set to dive to the safety of pit road, and it's Robert Matthews out front with TJ Graves in 2nd.
Yeah, keep an eye on the 32 of Ryan Borges back there in 3rd. We know he has no fear. Pace car's off. Green flag in the air, and Robert Matthews gets the jump. Borges spins the tires a little bit as we work back underway once again, and it looks like the 88 of Cosi going to slot right down to the inside lane of the racetrack back in 10th. That's where all eyes are, and we've got a caution again right away on the restart.
I believe the 7 and 96 come together down at turn 1, and 96 Forrest Gregg, the driver from Slapout, Alabama, going to be the caution car. As the replay on your screen right now, you're going to see that just going down into turn number 1, the 96 was there. The 7 of Tim Bills was wanting that spot, and they just kind of met in the same place.
Let's take our final commercial break under this caution flag. We are halfway home in the third and final segment of the Operation GI Barbecue 150. Robert Matthews, the leader of segment 3. Michael Kosey, your overall leader here at the Iowa Speedway. Stay with us.
Once its sights are set, nothing can stop the ferocious lion from capturing its prey. Relying on keen senses, lions search patiently before striking with alarming speed. Wait for it. Gotcha, Mr. Piece of Rubbish. He is truly the master of his environment. Do good, be a lion.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
Welcome back to LSRTV and the running of the Operation GI Barbecue 150 from the Iowa Speedway. For super late models, Jacob Seelman and Justin Rosenau coming down to what is going to be a thrilling finish to the third and final 50-lap segment of this race. And one of the players who was up front and then was involved in a pretty interesting crash coming just before halfway, Mike Alexander, has taken a disqualification, changed tires, and you can't do that for this race here tonight. So the 15 going to be parked behind the wall, and he will finish in the 18th position in this third and final segment. Robert Matthews and TJ Graves are going to restart on the front row with overall leader right now, Michael Kosey Jr. in the 10th position, 5 spots behind Richard Holiday, and doing exactly what he needs to do to bring home the big trophy at the end of the night. Field looks like it's pretty well formed up right here, and waiting to see exactly. I think we're going to have at least one more lap under caution. I think we're going to get the one to go right here, Justin. So next time by, we'll go green flag racing, and it'll be 20 laps to go.
Yeah, I'm going to have just 20 laps to go when we take the green flag. And did I call it in pre-race or did I call it in pre-race? You get a couple cautions around mid-race, and it effectively turns it into a 20-lap shootout, and that's what we got here. Coming down to the checkers of the event in the Operation GI Barbecue 150 in the third and final 50-lap segment, that is. And Robert Matthews, the lone Canadian madman up at the front of the field, has 3 drivers right behind him, all from the United States. 2 of them Team Loud Pedal cars, and you have the 32 Orion Borges as well. They're in third.
This is about to get interesting, boys and girls, and if I didn't know any better, I would say we've only seen the beginning of the chaos here tonight. Matthews versus Graves on the front row as the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car heads for pit lane again. The American Ethanol green flag flies one more time. Great restart for the front row. And how about TJ Graves coming to the stripe and actually leading lap number 130 down to turn 1. They're still door-to-door for the top spot.
Door-to-door for the lead. You got Mr. Excitement. TJ Gray is going to take the lead going into turn number 3. Randall Fox up on the high side. You got Richard Holiday trying to shoot the middle. And the 32 of Ryan Borges there on the inside trying to hold on to third as Matthews slides up the racetrack, get the advantage to Borges in 1.
How about this scramble from behind and working on the inside 3 wide as we got one car nearly goes sideways back around the 14 and the 88 of Michael Kosey. It's the 97 of Paul Boswell that almost gets up into the fence. He's able to hang on to it, but goes way back about 5 spots. And now Kosey trying to go to 8th in that 88 machine. We're 3 wide for third in 1.
51 of Randall Fox and 03 of Holiday making contact once again. You got the 28 of Robert Matthews going to give way on the high side. Randall Fox now up to the 3rd spot in 3.
And don't look now, but I hear Jaws with 18 laps to go. Kosey's on the charge. He's up to 8th. He's going to take 7th from Stephen Wetton as they cross the start-finish line. He's only 1.3 seconds back, and the way these guys are racing, it's a madhouse. Borges going for the lead down the backstretch.
Battle for the 2nd spot. The 51 of Walls is working to the inside of the 22 with TJ Grace, who's just trying to hang tough on the high side. Not necessarily the place you want to be. You got the 03 of Holiday experiencing connection issues right behind the Fox machine. As he now looks to the inside of Fox, gonna make it 3 wide. No, he lets out, but Fox now to P2 and Holiday now to 3rd.
How exciting has this gotten coming down to about 15 laps to go? We're still not done, and Michael Kosey is trying to methodically pick them off one by one. He's going to move into the 6th spot around Robert Matthews. Ryan Borges would like to run away. He's got a half-second lead, but he's got the hungry hounds behind him.
He's got the Mad Pack right behind him right now. He's got Randall Fox about a half-second behind him. Richard Holiday still trying to claw his way up front as Kosey dives to the bottom and going to try to pull a slide job on a 37 Spencer Creek and gets it done out of 4 as we're 15 laps to go.
Make it 14 to go as they cross the stripe. Kosey works his way into the top 5, and that would more than clinch the overall title, but he wants more. If he can use the last 14 laps to his advantage, he'd like to get it done, though I'm not sure if he's going to have quite enough time to get to Borges. 13 to go as they come to the line. Kosey may need a caution. The 32 doesn't want one at all.
Borges starting to pull away from the 51 of Randall Fox. He's got the 03, the pixelated speed Ford Mustang of Richard Holiday in 3rd. He's trying everything he can do to try to run away and steal the win away from Michael Kosey here in the 3rd and final segment, and not necessarily going to get it done, but Kosey, the back bumper of the 22 with TJ Graves, and Kosey charging like a madman through the field after that early incident with Keith Mack, is now looking almost to the inside of TJ Graves out of turn number 2. He's looking, not going to do it, going to go to the high side now on the back straightaway.
Coming down to 11 laps to go when they cross the stripe. The gap between the top 2 has stabilized at about 6 car lengths. Borges over Randall Fox. 11 laps to go as they work across the stripe, and within 1,000th of a second last time by as was Fox to Borges. They work off turn number 2. It's still that way down the back.
Side by side for that 4th spot. Michael Kosey going to do it the hard way. High, wide, and handsome around the outside as the 22 with TJ Gray still giving them business there on the bottom side.
How about the run for Kosey? He gets 4th across the start-finish line. He's going to lose some time, though. 1.6 back to the race leader. Kosey picks off another one. If we get a caution, boy, I like that 88 machine in maybe a 5-lap dash, but we're running out of laps to get a caution. Here coming a 9 to go.
9 laps to go. Ryan Borges across the stripe has lap traffic in front of him. The 00 of Ben Gilcrease back on the racetrack after that hard lick in turn number 1 or so on the first lap or so. And you got the 32 of Borges really working around lap traffic really well. And like you
Trouble
said,
on the racetrack. We've got a caution flag with
And as caution flag waves here on the inside of 10 to lap go, it could be lap number 43. I'm going to find out the caution car possibly going to be the number 3. Jacob, who is it?
I'm looking at the 44 of Paul Fugate, actually. He's the one car that did not come across the start-finish line, and I think going to be Fugate that's actually the caution car here, and that's going to set up, what, about a 4-lap dash to the finish?
Yeah, about a 4-lap dash or so to the finish, and it just looked like the 74 of Robert O'Neill and the 44, the hometown driver from Mechanicsville, Iowa, Paul Fugate there in the 44, and the replay being shown on your screen, and just like the two drivers there come together in turns 1 and 2.
So that's going to put us under the Service Master Clean caution with what I think is going to be a 4-lap dash to the finish when we go back under the green flag. 44 and 74 into the wall in turn number 2. Ryan Borges, your leader, but this gives Randall Falks one more shot. Maybe take a segment win and go to victory lane tonight.
Certainly could be the case, but you have to worry about that number 88 of Michael Kosey Jr. He got it done in segments 1 and 2, and now he's in contention. He's going to restart second in the high line there. He's going to restart 4th, but he's got to wonder how long it's going to take to get around that 03 or Richard Holiday as well, because he's been very, very fast now that he's had some clean air now up towards the front of the pack.
Whoo, boy, it seems only appropriate, doesn't it, Justin, that after about 145 laps now, it all comes down to about a 4-lap dash to the finish. I mean, I couldn't have scripted this any better, and all for a good cause going towards Operation GI Barbecue, and we're hoping maybe we can drum up a few more donations here before the checkered flag.
Yes, and if you want to find out how to donate to Operation GI Barbecue, go to the homepage at Fast Sim Racing, www.fastsimracing.com, and scroll down the homepage there. There's a button for you that'll donate directly to Operation GI Barbecue right on the homepage of that website. And if you have $1, $5, $10, whatever you can possibly donate, it all goes to benefit our troops stationed overseas and help them feel a little bit more at home while they serve our nation in harm's way.
Alrighty, so this is going to leave us with a little bit of fun because we're going to have 4 laps to the finish, Justin. But it's also going to be territory where once we take the green flag, the next flag ends the race. So it is absolute go time for everybody. You've got to make a move, and you've got to hope it works, because if we get a caution down in turn 1, this race is over.
That certainly will be the case, and if you're Ryan Borges, you want to get the restart of your life, but if you're Michael Kosey Jr., you want this thing to go green. And how about the 51 of Randall Falks? You certainly have to hope that he's going to time the restart, just like TJ Graves did there on the last restart when we went green there, and use the outside to get around the driver that's in the lead, because the outside seems like if you can get and hang with the driver that's on the inside of you, the outside is really where you want to be, especially coming off of turn number 4, because it's a long, long run from turn 4 down to turn 1, and you really use it on the high side.
Biggest thing we got going now is lights did not go off this time by the stripe. It's going to become a 3-lap dash to the finish here at Iowa Speedway. That is not what Kosey wanted. He wanted the lights to go out when we crossed the stripe last time by. He's going to need everything he can get right here, because we're not going to have much time at all. And I'm watching the 03 of Richard Holiday blinking again on the bottom side of the racetrack. He's had connection worries all night long here at Iowa. That makes me nervous for this final restart.
Certainly could be the case there for the driver in the 03. I mean, he's had a very high ping, and if I'm like TJ Graves, you know, you got to be trying to say something to race control about it, because it's kind of annoying when you're driving a race car here to really be able to focus with a car that may or may not be there by the time you actually get to it.
All right, so for your leaders, your top 4, Michael Kosey just needs to stay out of trouble, and he'll take the overall win. What are you thinking in those top 4 spots going to green, Justin?
If I'm in the top 4, I'm just thinking about one thing, unless you're Michael Kosey, and that's just let's get a segment win. You know, a segment win will certainly help your chances of getting into the top 10 all for a payout in tonight's event. And if you're Michael Kosey, I'm thinking if I have the shot to go for the win, I'll take it. But if not, I just want to ride around and safely take home the overall win.
Pace car's gone. We're back under racing. Green flag here at Iowa. Borges gets the shot. Caution's out! Caution came out on the green, and that's going to lock the field into place. Borges is going to get the segment win, and that's going to hand the overall victory in the Operation GI Barbecue 150 to Michael Kosey with a 1-1-4 record, an average finish of second through all three segments.
Congratulations to the 88 of Michael Kosey there. But what brought out the caution there on that last restart was that the 07 of Brandon Simmons looked like he wanted to try to time the restart and get around the 7 of Tim Bills, but did not. Got into the back of Tim Bills, and the 97 of Paul Boswell just piled in and got up into the outside wall there on the restart. And everybody was just trying to give it everything they had on the final restart, and it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen here as the admins have asked the field to roll slowly and give the EOL to whoever is responsible.
Now the field rolling under caution. We're going to get the yellow and white next time by, so we're coming down to it, Justin, and I'm looking forward to seeing the finish of this race.
Yeah, the finish of the race certainly could be affected as the caution flag going to end segment 3 and the Operation GI Barbecue here, so it's going to be admin's call as to who's going to get the blame assigned for that and end up not one lap down, but at the end of the longest line and really affect themselves as far as position on the racetrack. White flag being displayed now to your leader, Ryan Borges, as we come across the start-finish line this time by. And Borges just has one more lap to pace to put himself in victory lane in segment 3.
But the real winner is going to be the driver of that 88 machine who fights back from a crash early on in segment 3 when, Justin, we thought maybe he was going to be out of it. And instead, a fourth-place result is going to give Michael Kosey Jr. the overall win in the GI Barbecue 150. And how big a night it's been. We thought he had a chance to do the clean sweep, maybe had a car to do it if we had gone green the rest of the way. But I know he'll take this just as well as any. And for Ryan Borges, it's going to be a little bit of a bright spot to the end of a very tough first two segments. He at least gets to celebrate with a checkered flag as we roll through turns number 3 and 4 for the final time. Randall Falks gives a little bump of congratulations to that number 32 machine. Caution and twin checkers coming as we work to the line, and Ryan Borges going to celebrate as the winner of segment 3 of the Operation GI Barbecue 150. Michael Kosey Jr. in the number 88 takes the overall win as we see the twin checkers. Kosey, your winner here at Iowa Speedway.
Congratulations go out to the driver of that ARC Racing Series Chevrolet S as Michael Kosey Jr. going to take home the overall win here tonight for the Operation GI Barbecue 150, and we'll get the updated standings as to who finished second, because it was pretty much anybody's guess. More than likely it's going to be the 03 of Richard Holiday, but we'll have the updated standings for you here as the admins update them here in just a couple of moments here, just before we go to our post-race show, so we'll be able to update you on who finished where. But as it stands right now, the top 5 in segment 3 going to be the 32 of Ryan Borges claiming the checkers in this segment, the 51 of Randall Falks going to come home second, the 03 of Richard Holiday going to come home third, the 88 of Michael Kosey going to come home fourth, and TJ Graves in the 22 are going to round out your top 5 here in segment 3.
We're going to do some business here on LSRTV. We'll come back for the post-race show in a couple of minutes. From Iowa Speedway, this is Live Sim Racing TV, the voice of sim racing.
Monza is
It's been a very long offseason. Teams have changed, sponsors have changed, colors and all, but one thing that hasn't, they like to mash the loud pedal. Green flag is out on the 2015 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series season.
iRacing is the ideal platform for these broadcasts because we have the best racers, the best online racers in the world, and we have such a variety of racing, from NASCAR to Grand Prix style racing, sports car endurance racing. We do it all.
Since 2010, the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series has been the absolute pinnacle of road racing in a simulated form. Great start then by Yakoda from the front. They're packing up behind number one. They're going to be 4 wide as they come down into turn number 1 for the first time. Will they make it through that first corner? You can see them funneling through the center S's. It looks as though everyone has just about made it through. We have got ourselves some contact though, Rachel.
Side by side going into turns 3 and 4. Humpy's got the advantage, but Ottinger's not going to.
Oh, he got into him!
Ottinger gets into the 58, turns right into him, and that ends Ottinger's run.
We do a lot of live broadcasts now. Every Tuesday is NASCAR night, so on alternating Tuesdays we do the Peak Antifreeze series, and on the other Tuesdays the B-Class series, which is the Xfinity cars, and sometimes we'll even do some short track racing depending on the schedule. Every other Saturday we do the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix series, so the best road racers we have. And we also broadcast some special events, including the Endurance Championship, which is part of the Road Warrior series. So we broadcast the Daytona 24, the Sebring 12 hour, we'll do the Watkins Glen 6 hour, several other races along there. And then of course the iRacing Pro Racing Champions, which is usually our biggest and most watched event of the year.
That is short track racing, and that's how awesome this sim is, Joe. That's something you see on TV on highlight reels, and we just saw it here, live.
We invite iRacers who are real world racers. They compete every December. Guys like Alex Gurney, Justin Wilson, Scott Speed, Ron Capps, the list goes on. Really some big name drivers from all major forms of motorsport. It's really neat to see them get together and race together.
See Laughlin up top, down to the ball, gets turned! Laughlin gets turned! Caution is out foul at the front of the field!
The easiest place to find the broadcast is on our website, iracing.com/live. So you can find some of our races on fanschoice.tv as well. A nice place to find iRacing broadcasts.
You can also find it at mrn.com and peakauto.com.
I'm Dan Garrison, software engineer at iRacing. Since the beginning of Papyrus and through iRacing, the track has been unchanging through a session. Whatever you have at the beginning is what you have for the duration of the session and the end. The track doesn't change. What we want to do is be able to have the track respond to what's going on, to have cars interact with the track, to have the track change in temperature, in the amount of rubber. We want marbles, and we want those to be generated by the cars, putting them where they should be and picking them up and rethrowing them off the race line. It's a physical-based model that we focus on first and foremost. The tire and the track interaction, what's really going on there. It would be easy to just quickly throw something together. Our standards are, it needs to make sense. What's really going on, even at the molecular level between the track and the tire. The way the track works, essentially, is we divide it up into small cells that your car interacts with. So if you're adding temperature to a certain part of the track, we can pretty accurately know exactly where that is. That gets transmitted to the server. So if I'm in a race, my data is going to the server with everybody else in the session. The server accumulates that and basically broadcasts a consistent track state to everyone, so everyone's got the same track that they're racing on. One of the big challenges was being able to implement this dynamic track with any number of clients connected and have it just work as you would expect. Have it be the same for everyone in the service who's in a session. So to kind of give a little bit of a preview of the state of things right now, I basically have run a number of laps at 5 Flags with the effects exaggerated for demonstration purposes so that we can kind of immediately see what's going on with the track. Right here is basically the track at the beginning of the session. There is a little bit of rubber on there that's put programmatically. That's the starting state of this track, and it's fairly low rubber at this point. If we skip ahead to the end, I did about 30 laps, so at the very end, you can kind of see all this darkened in right here. This is where I was running the car, so, well, there you go. And again, this is exaggerated. A single car in 30 laps is not going to darken the track anywhere near this level. We also have the ability to see the temperature, similar to an IR camera. At the beginning of the session, it's a little bit warm down here. It's very cool up here. As we skip ahead, all of a sudden this part of the track has become very warm. This is where I was running the car. And we can also drag the little thumbnail and see the effect of time as the track cools off and returns back to its equilibrium state. Before we had fairly symmetrical tracks. Now, because the sun is shining at some angle, one side of the track might be particularly hot, and 180 degrees around the track is going to be significantly cooler because the sun isn't really pointing at that. So you're on a track where maybe you basically treated it as two equal halves. Now you need to adjust to that. With multiple cars over a long race, you're going to have to seek out where's the grip, where is it going, how is the track changing. It's going to require a much more intelligent approach to racing. You're going to have to be able to handle the track through the life of the race. So in addition to temperature and rubber, we're also spending a lot of time working with marbles, putting them on the track where they should be. Later in a race, you can expect there to be marbles offline, and so a pass might be a little more sketchy later in the race because you're going to have to go through part of the track that has accumulated some rubber. On the oval side, if you want to venture out into, say, the outside line and nobody's been there yet, you can expect to find marbles there. I expect that the track becoming dynamic means that during a race, temperature is going to go up significantly and the grip is going to respond negatively. You will want to be anticipating that, seeking out cooler parts of the track, taking a slightly higher line for a while, testing out, is it faster up here? I fully expect it's going to break up the field. Cars are going to be trying new things. You won't be able to just take a qualifying setup and make a tiny change and then be able to run the same laps over and over. It's going to just become a much more dynamic and unpredictable experience. As significant as this first implementation is in creating a dynamic environment, it's really kind of just sets the foundation for even bigger and better things. We'll be able to handle day-night transitions and a moving sun and clouds coming in and have the track respond to that. We can look down the road and say, well, we'll want to do rain and have water on the track and have it move and have it dry according to where the tires are and how much temperature is there and how much is the sun shining. All these things that happen in a real race, we want to model them, and we are well on our way in being able to do something like that. I think it's great as an iRacing member to see this feature come to fruition. This dynamic track is something that really has been kind of discussed for a long time, and to join the team and be able to bring it to the members, myself being one of them, is very exciting. It's going to change the face of race sessions significantly and really improve the experience.
Welcome back to LSRTV as we get set to head down trackside for the post-race show after the Operation GI BBQ 150. And As I get ready to do that, Justin Rosenau, what a finish we saw. Michael Cozy having to fight from a crash to finish fourth and claim the overall win. Ryan Borges, what a night he had, and comes back and gets a segment win. It was a fun night. I enjoyed it, and boy, did we ever see some good old-fashioned short track racing.
We sure did. We've seen tempers flare, especially between the 7 of Tim Bills and the 15 of Mike Alexander. Those two cars trading paint a lot in that last segment, and that kind of cost Tim Bills a shot at getting into the top 3 overall. And how about Ryan Borges? Needed the run that he needed at the end of the race there to really get himself up into the top 3. And as I say that, Jacob Silman, you're down on pit road with the third place driver of the 32, Ryan Borges.
Down track side, and car 32 got beat and battered and banged around about like a pinball through the first 2 segments, and somehow fights through the chaos and the smoke. And look at you, Ryan Borges. You end up with a segment win at the end of the 3rd segment and claw your way onto the podium overall. So I guess the best question that I've got out of all this is, where did that come from in the final 50 laps?
Honestly, I thought the car, after the first segment, it had a bunch of speed in it. The first segment, I really didn't get a ton of practice with it. I've been on vacation and haven't been around yesterday, so today was really the first day I really got to work on the setup. So I wasn't that good in the first segment. I was still decent. I was like 6th or 7th or something, but too far, way too loose. But fixed that up for the second segment, and I thought I was going to contend in that one, but got caught in a wreck midway through that. And then third segment, since I was probably out of contention for the win of the whole thing, I was just ready to go for it and was able to come through the field there from a mid-pack starting spot and just get to the front and hold on with all those cautions there at the end. So it worked out well.
Talk about the battle for the lead late with TJ there. You took the lead with 17 to go and really managed to pull away there at the tail end. Solid run, but the battle for a minute, he made it look good on the outside for a while, and then after that you made the bottom work, and it looked like you just had a little more speed right at the tail end of the run.
Yeah, I mean, TJ's he's a pretty good racer. We actually, a lot of these races, we work on setups together, so we were running pretty similar equipment. I think he made a couple different changes than me, but I thought we were both pretty quick in this race, all 3 segments, but he was able to get to the front in the second and third segment, was able to keep it up there. The last segment was when I got my shot to get up there, and I wasn't gonna rough TJ up, but I was definitely gonna try to get around him there, and I did. And I guess my car worked a little better on the bottom than the top. I thought it was definitely a 2-groove track there for if you wanted to pass someone. You could pass someone on the outside or the inside, just depending on how aggressive you wanted to be. But it was a good battle there with TJ and Randall, all the Team Loud Pedal guys who helped me out in this race and the other fast races, and I was happy to bring it home first in the final segment, at least cap off a decent run in the race. I definitely wanted to win the whole thing, but third place is pretty nice.
3rd place overall win in the final segment, and I know there's people that go into that, Ryan, and definitely want to give you a chance to shout out to them. Who makes it happen for you in the 32 crew?
I got to thank Team Loud Pedal, TJ, Randall, Justin, who's in the booth. I got to thank them for helping me out with the setup for this race. They gave me some tips and advice. I got to work off that. I got to thank the sponsors, Racer Boost, Extreme Racing Series, Molecule Motorsports, Lundgren Honda, and Jerky XP, all for supporting me. And I definitely got to thank ARC, Fast for both putting on this event, Fast for hosting it, and ARC for officiating it. They did a great job again. Fast, I'm glad to be a part of a race I put on and raised a ton of money for a good organization, the Operation GI Barbecue. That's good to see. And I also got to thank LSR for putting the race on. It's always a blast to go back and look at these races afterwards and see all the action.
And oh, by the way, for anybody that may want to look this kid up later on, he's working on putting some real-life racing endeavors back together, and our LSRTV supporters at Race Chaser Online going to be all over that here in the near future. Ryan Borges comes up third in the overall standings here at Iowa Speedway. Winner of segment 3 as we get set to move down to the other end of pit road. Justin Rosenau, I believe Richard Holliday, snuck through all this chaos to come up second in the final standings.
Alongside the driver that finished second, that beautifully green painted pixelated speed, number 03, Richard Holliday. And Richard, you had quite the battle there. You looked like you were in contention for the win there. The final restart kind of got you with the stack up at the back of the pack. Tell us about your 3-segment battle there and just how hard it was to actually be able to finish second.
Well, I think the racing was real close. The outside lane seemed to have a lot of speed, especially early on when the tires were fresh, and I think it created some good racing. I mean, the last restart, I got a little antsy and didn't get the right chance I needed, but I think the race overall, it was good tonight.
And talk about the battles you had throughout the pack there. I mean, you did very well for yourself coming home third in the final segment. You finished fifth in both the first and second segments there. Just how hard was it to be able to keep up with guys like Tim Bills and the overall winner here tonight, Michael Cosi?
Well, those guys had some great race cars tonight. Tim Bills actually helped me a lot with my setup, so I got to thank him a lot. I think I probably would have been a 10th place car. But they had good rides, and I think they certainly showed it.
Caution flags aside, did you really have a shot at getting to Ryan Borges or Randall Falkser in the final restart?
The run before, I was about matching their pace. I think it depended on how early their tires fell off as to whether I would have gotten to them or not, but I don't know. Well, no one will ever know.
A member of the ARC Racing Series contingent doing very well here tonight in the Operation GI Barbecue 150. And Richard Holliday, you can't do it yourself, man. Who's responsible for getting you on the track week in and week out?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Pixelated Speed and Gravel Performance for being on the car. They helped us get into this race, and I'm really thankful for them. Also, the ARC Admin Panel, Operation GI Barbecue, for being the title sponsor tonight. You guys at LSRTV, and finally Tim Bills for helping me out with the setup.
That's the driver who finished second overall here in the Operation GI Barbecue 150. That's the 03 Pixelated Speed Ford Mustang of Richard Holliday. And now going down to Lucas Oil Victory Lane with the driver who won the first 2 segments, finished fourth in the final one. He's your overall winner here tonight. Going to be the 88 of Michael Cosi Jr.
Did somebody say Victory Lane? Because that's the place that's been ablaze for the last 5 or 10 minutes. And Michael Cosi, what a ride you had. Win segment 1 going away, win segment 2 going away, and then about 20 or so laps into segment 3, all heck kind of breaks loose, and you're left having to fight from the tail of the field inside of about 30 laps to go. How on earth did you fight back to fourth, clinch the overall win, and still make it look like you had a shot to go to Victory Lane in the 3rd segment at the end of this one?
It wasn't that big of a deal. I think if I think we had a little bit more track position, a little bit more time, I don't think we would have had a problem taking the 3rd one. I was we had that early caution. I was setting up to make a run for it, try to win down pit road just to make sure my nose wasn't too terribly torn up. He said it was pretty torn up. It was, but we had like 12 seconds of repair or something like that. So I don't know. I started off picking them off one by one, trying to dodge the wrecks, and man, that thing was hooked up. To be honest with you, the first I wasn't planning on being anywhere close to the front. I thought maybe I had a top 5 car, but man, the first split, the first race we did, I don't know. Like I said, I thought the car was okay, really tight, but at one point I got up to second, I think, and my spotter was telling me I was catching 10 bills and said, "Man, you crazy!" But I mean, to be honest, that thing was hooked up. I had no idea that I had the speed in it.
You take the overall win in what's really a big event for Fast for LSRTV. I mean, I know you said you didn't expect it, but how big is this for you, being able to put all the pieces together and take a huge win here tonight at Iowa?
Man, I don't know. It's a little bit bigger than what I feel like right now. Like I said, man, I'm still trying to I'm still trying to process it. I just can't really get over how good the car was. I mean, it's huge. To come in here with a car I absolutely hate the track too. Iowa was one of my number one most hated tracks. Like I said, I wouldn't expect it to be anywhere close, but it's really awesome to come in come an event like this with a lot of big names, a lot of really fast drivers, and come out and win 2 out of the 3, and just really awesome.
It's been a fun night, and I know you being able to take this overall win doesn't happen by yourself. Who do you need to thank, Michael? Who makes it happen for this 88 crew?
I gotta try not to forget anybody here. First, I gotta thank Operation BBQ and what they do supporting the troops. I gotta thank them. I gotta thank Fast and LSRTV, Daniel Vining, and man, I can't think of the other man's name. I'm sorry. I got a bad memory, but I got all kinds of people to thank. I really got to thank Arc Racing for being on the car. Arc Racing Series, incredible league. Racing on Thursday nights, by far probably the best racing league I've raced, on the weekly. So go check them out, arcracingseries.com. Great people, happenings, incredible. All the drivers, very, very clean. Really, really great league. I got to thank my spotter crew chief, everybody at Arc Racing for helping the setup. Bob Boswell, that's what it is. Gotta give a big thanks to him and everybody who makes this thing everybody makes this thing go on.
Michael Kosey gets the win, and Michael, real fast, the people want to know, if it wasn't for that caution coming out on the 3-lap to go restart, could you have gotten up and given Ryan a run for his money?
That's what I was thinking. I was talking to my spotter. We had 3 laps to go or something like that. I was fourth. Yeah, I definitely think I could have got up there. I don't know. It would have been tough, but I think I definitely had the car to get up there. I was at least banking on it.
Victory Lane's been a fun place. A lot of energy down here. Justin Rosenau, Michael Kosey gets the win in the Operation GI BBQ 150. Real quickly, let's take the people through the final overall results.
Top 5 in the overall results right now going to be your winner, Michael Kosey Jr. in the 88, going to come home with the overall win. Richard Holiday, who you just heard, was going to come home second. Ryan Borges in third. Tim Bill's going to get the Team Loud Pedal Racing Hard Luck Award. That's $10 to that driver, who comes home in fourth after all that melee there in the second segment there and in the third segment as well. Keith Mack going to round out the top 5 after that early incident with the 88 of Michael Kosey, and Mike Rhino as well on that level as well. He's going to round out your top 5 in fifth.
60th, Max. 7th, Randall Falks. 8th goes to Robert Matthews. 9th, Mike Rhino. And TJ Graves, after 2 really solid runs, finished 19th in the first segment and comes up 9th. Spencer Preet rounds out the top 10. After all this chaos, and an average finish, Justin, of 2.0 wins it. Not that I'm not surprised at that, because I knew you were going to have to take at least one segment victory to go to victory lane tonight, but Michael Kosey really made Iowa look like his personal playground tonight. Any final thoughts from what we've seen? And obviously, again, GI BBQ, fantastic cause that we've been racing for here tonight.
Yes, it is. And 11th through the end of the 20 drivers that took the green flag here tonight. Ben Kilcrease in 11th, Stephen Wetton, Mike Alexander, Paul Boswell, Brandon Simmons in the 15th spot, 16th Paul Fugate, 17th Robert O'Neill, 18th Ben Nile, 19th Forrest Gregg, and 20th Dan Vining. And I'm proud to say, Jacob, that overall, through driver donations, zero donations, team donations of all kinds, and this is without any drivers donating their winnings back into the fund for Operation GI BBQ, we've raised just over $300 for Operation GI BBQ for this event.
I like hearing that, especially because we know it goes to a fantastic cause and ultimately will help our troops overseas. For more information, visit the Fast Series website for more, or head to gibbq.com to find out more about Operation GI Barbecue. And a special thanks to them for helping put this event on tonight, right now from the cornfields of Iowa and the heartland of America. For Justin Rosenau and our executive producer Laura Lawson, for Fast, Operation GI Barbecue, and LSRTV, I'm Jacob Seelman, reminding you to keep it off the wall until we meet again, when we'll see you next time right here on the web. No race tomorrow night on LSRTV for the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series, but we'll see you back online in the near future. Good night from Iowa.